Is it only the butler who's doomed? Wynnum will die too. I don't care. What? He was still adamant, saying he'd rather die with him than lose her. It's better if things aren't so clear. Layla frowned at him and told him he was crazy. Wynnum replied, I know, now please leave. Then he pushed her out the door. She was filled with worry. How could he become a completely different person after only 2 weeks? They say people go crazy when they're in love, but that doesn't mean turning into a psychopath overnight. Something about this isn't right, so I tried going to Elvin, but it was no use. As she walked, she told Sane that it wasn't just Wynnum, but even the butler was, in a state where he couldn't be reasoned with. If that's the case, there's only one way to save Wynnum, Sane asked. What way? Since Wynnum and the butler are fighting over a woman, there's no other choice but to go to that woman herself. She thought to herself that this woman was probably in an awkward situation too, so if she told her those two were in danger, maybe she'll pretend to intervene to make this whole mess stop. If she refuses, then I'll offer her some generous compensation. Sane opened the door, holding an arm out in front of Layla, and said, Hold on, I'll go in first. Layla was a little surprised. Huh? She thought, why does he suddenly want to go in first? Could it be that he heard the widow is beautiful and wants to meet her first? No way. In any case, there's a huge age gap between Sane and the widow. Sane suddenly spoke, Layla, don't wander off, stay close to me. His words left her bewildered. Huh? Why are you being so cautious? This is just a perfume shop, run by a single widow, right? Just as they stepped inside, the woman happened to come out of a private room. Welcome, a beautiful guest has arrived, and there are 2 of you, Layla exclaimed in surprise. Huh. What she realized was that the woman looked a lot like Angela, and she blurted out, Angela? This seemed to surprise her, so Layla quickly explained. Oh, it's nothing. You just look a lot like someone I know. I called out her name by mistake. Is that so? I guess I have a lot of doppelgangers. It's not that, but... Before she could finish, Sane suddenly grabbed her hand tightly. Layla asked, Sane, what's gotten into you all of a sudden? Let's come back another time, Sane said as he hurriedly pulled her out of the shop. Before leaving, he glanced back. The woman's gaze turned sharp. You've realized it too, haven't you? Hearing that, they both stopped in their tracks. Layla, what? What on earth did he realize? Have you forgotten what you just said? As if recalling something, Layla replied, What I said? Don't tell me you're really Angela? Yeah, the woman asked. You don't sound very sure, do you? Is it just good intuition? But no matter. The important thing is that clumsy little brats like you have already figured me out. To reveal such incompetence before my grand plan is complete, if this gets out, I'll be torn into 1,000 pieces before the ruler of the world arrives. Layla thought to herself, this is insane. I think we've picked the wrong person to mess with. Seeing the door shut by itself, it seemed to have a strange power. If I make a run for it and open the door, can I escape? She said, Don't bother, it's useless. You two can't leave here until I say so. Sane was on high alert, his hand on his sword, ready to draw it at any moment. Layla had no other choice but to try and negotiate. We don't know anything, we haven't seen anything. We were never even here and will never come back for the rest of our lives. So could you please let us go? Please, I'm being completely honest. I feel bad for Wynnum and the butler, really. But Sane and I can't die for them. She cracked a smile and then, well, introduced herself. My name is Asilis. You can call me Asilis. I move to a new residence every 15 years like clockwork. Just when I get used to a new place, I have to move to another city. Do you know how annoying that is? But I have no choice. The last time I stayed in one village for 25 years, I was almost burned alive. I didn't commit any crime, but not aging a day in 25 years? That's a witch for you, isn't it? Ah, she glared at Sane. Layla was shocked and said, You really are. Well now, you two know far too much about me, which means you have to die. Ah, as she said that, she raised her hand to cast a spell to kill Layla and Sane, but Layla hurriedly stopped her. Wait, hold on a second. What, got some last words? It's not my last words, I just have a question. After she said it, she couldn't help but mock herself. Why does this conversation feel like déjà vu? Why were you working as a maid at the Marquis's mansion? No special reason, I've had all sorts of jobs. A maid was just one of them. While you were a maid, was that face a fake? Is this your real one? No. But I like this face the best. Where were you before coming to the Marquis's mansion? The Vaquette territory. It rained constantly there, so it was really unpleasant. You mentioned your clan earlier. How many of you are there? But by now, Asilis was getting a little impatient. Ah, and she replied, It's a secret. You don't need to know. So you know about Wynnum and the butler then? Did you deliberately do that to them? Haha. Yes, I did it on purpose. Isn't it fun? You must have really enjoyed yourself then, huh? Asilis then said, May I ask you something? Ah, yes, please go ahead. Asilis smirked triumphantly and asked bluntly, Have you figured out a way to escape yet? This should have been enough time, don't you think? Layla panicked, realizing she had been found out. She had been signaling to Sane while asking her questions. She couldn't believe, that Asilis knew her plan all along and was still so calm. Sane, who had been silent this whole time, immediately gave an order. In a voice just loud enough for Layla, who was standing behind him, to hear, the shelf on the right, bottom row, fourth from the left, the yellow perfume bottle, smash it. Layla replied, Got it. Seeing the strange exchange between the two, Asilis asked, You two are plotting something, aren't you? Just discussing our last words. Oh, really? Do tell. I'm dying to know. I'm just noticing now, so you can actually talk? Sane just coldly uttered one word. Yeah. Yeah? You've been fooling everyone at the Marquis's mansion this whole time. What? I was almost fooled by you too, you sly little devil. Sane drew his sword, his expression darkening. Stop your nonsense. Weren't you going to kill me? Give it a shot. Asilas laughed loudly. Wrong. I said I was going to kill both of you. It's all the same to me. Right then, Sane's mind was filled with only thoughts of Layla as he vowed to himself. Before you can kill me, you won't lay a single finger on Layla. Sane aimed his blade at Asilas, and at that very moment, Layla also took the opportunity to run straight towards the perfume cabinet, praying silently. Sane, please don't get hurt. I'll definitely get everyone out of here as soon as I grab the perfume bottle. Layla joyfully turned back to tell Sane, I got it, but the sight that met her eyes was blood and Sane's body collapsing in pain. The perfume bottle shattered along with him. Layla's eyes widened, so shocked she could only call out his name. Sane. Sane struggled to get up. Asilas roared in anger. Damn it, you hateful brat. How did you get the perfume bottle? Sane whispered to Layla. Go now. Hearing him say that, her expression immediately grew anxious. Sane said, the door will open. Run. If we both go, we won't be able to shake her off. She hesitated. But even so, while they were still whispering to each other, she said with a laugh, so you're not just some ordinary brats, huh? Fine then, just as you wish. I'll kill you both mercilessly. Faced with her terrifying presence, Sane urged Layla, run, hurry up. She didn't want to, but she reluctantly agreed. She was filled with hope. Wait for me a little, just a little while. Layla ran, but Asilas noticed. She rushed right up to her. Where do you think you're going? Before Asilas could strike, she was blocked by Sane's sword. Asilas shouted in fury. This damn brat. Fine, I'll kill you first. I can kill that little girl anytime, Layla yelled. Please help me. Hearing Layla's voice, she glanced over, startled. Layla had run to the door and was shouting, please save me. There's a witch in here. I am Layla, from the house of Marquis Hindaga. A witch is attacking me. Somebody help me. Inform the house of the Marquis immediately. The townspeople were surprised to hear Layla. A witch? Did that girl just say a witch? We have to inform the Marquis's family right away. It looks like the young lady is in danger. Look at her blood-soaked clothes. Oh my god. Receiving a positive response from the crowd, Layla's expression hardened. Asilas glanced at Layla tensely and said, ha, that little brat. Layla turned to face Asilas, certain of her victory, and asked confidently, what are you going to do? Deal with Sane, kill me, and then kill the crowd that's about to storm in? You were just talking about some big plan, but now you need to save your own skin, don't you? Do you really think it's wise for things to get this messy? Your cover is blown, so people from the Marques's house will be here soon. The townspeople are already swarming this way. This is way more fun than controlling Wynnum and the butler, right? She looked at her provocatively. So, are you thrilled? Asilas was speechless with fury. Holding a shard of glass, she threw it straight at Layla. You detestable brats. Reacting instinctively, she stepped back. She thought she might have provoked her too much. Asilas smirked as blood from Layla's dress dripped onto the floor. Asilas said, next time, I'll be sure to kill you both. With that, Asilas turned and quickly departed. Sane thought to himself, is there a secret door in the warehouse? As the thought passed, he collapsed, and Layla caught him, crying out, Sane! She suddenly remembered that the witch had thrown something earlier. She then discovered a glass shard embedded in Sane's hand. Layla panicked. Oh my god, did you block that with your hand? She pulled the shard of glass from his hand. Just hang in there for a bit, Sane. I'll take out the big shard first, and we'll handle the rest back at the castle. Even when you're hurt, you're still worried about Layla? Put that thing down. You'll hurt your hands. Is that the problem right now? Before he could finish his sentence, Sane passed out in her arms. She looked at him filled with worry. I had believed that he would never kill me. Maybe he would even protect me when I was in danger, but I never imagined this situation, that he would sacrifice this much trying to save me. Why did you save me? Sane struggled to speak. With tears in her eyes, Layla asked, what? Looking into Layla's eyes, he said, because I'm crazy. After saying that, he slowly passed out. Layla repeatedly called his name, Sane, Sane. She held him tight and kept calling for him. Not long after, knights and doctors from Hindaga arrived. Sane received first aid before being moved to the Marquis's castle, and he remained unconscious for 3 days. Thank you, Lady Layla. I, Wynnum, swear on all my honor and fortune, I will never forget this kindness. The butler beside him also bowed respectfully. I am indebted to you, my lady. Wynnum said, I had only heard stories about the witch, but she was terrifying. I can't even remember what she looked like now. If it weren't for you, my lady, I don't know what would have happened to us. Don't thank me. If it wasn't for Sane, I would have been killed by that witch too. So when Sane wakes up, please thank him in person. The butler was confused. Huh? But a slave's accomplishments belong to their master. Hearing this, Wynnum quickly nudged the butler. I understand, my lady. I will do just that. He pushed the butler down to bow to Layla, then quickly excused themselves. Opening the door to Sane's room, Layla slowly walked in and sat by his bed, looking at him with worry. She remembered Elvin's words, it's a miracle he's alive. A normal person would have died twice over. If Sane never wakes up, it wouldn't exactly be a disadvantage for me. In fact, it might even be a good thing, because our relationship is better now, so even if he does wake up, I won't be killed. I won't have to be wary of hateful stares just for being with Sane anymore. I won't have to fear him hating me again. Everything will be just as I've always wished. But I don't want that. I want him to wake up. Maybe I'm crazy too, just like he is. Suddenly, Sane woke up. She quickly wiped away her tears and called, "Sane," she said emotionally. "Ah, am I seeing things? Is it because I'm going crazy?" Sane asked. "Are you okay?" She bashfully looked away and answered, "Do I look okay to you? Are you hurt? Where? Let me see. How bad is it?" Layla retorted, "It's not me, it's you. You're the one who's not okay." According to Elvin, a normal person would have already died twice from your injuries. He asked again, "So you're saying you're not hurt?" She said seriously, "Sane, I have to live a long life, I promised my sister. But if you die, there will be no one left to protect me. So don't die, Sane." He smiled at her concern for him. He replied softly, "Okay." 1 month has passed since the witch's appearance, and the Hindaga territory has returned to its usual peaceful state. Although a wanted poster for the witch was issued, because she can change her appearance, she was of course never caught. And as the incident was gradually forgotten, I grew worried. Will that woman show up with a new look for revenge? Either way, Sane and I both had a feeling. So I think we'll be fine no matter what happens next time. I'm so happy that Sane has recovered, and I don't want to think about any other headaches. Seeing him so healthy after a brush with death, now I understand why Elvin called it an animal's resilience. Oh no, I should say it's a miracle. Seeing her lost in thought, Sane looked at her, confused. The peaceful days passed by just like that, and on a beautiful day as my birthday drew closer, a visitor came to the Marquis's mansion. Watching from the window, Layla was surprised. "Is that Countess Kaito? I heard she controls all the trade in the East. That's why they had to scramble to accommodate such an unannounced guest." While she was focused on the Countess, a sudden voice startled Layla, and she turned to ask, "What is it?" "Countess Kaito is looking for you, my lady." She was confused. Me. When they met, Layla greeted her politely. "Hello, Countess. I heard you were looking for me." Witnessing the Countess's beauty, Layla thought, "She looks younger than I thought." But that makes sense. Count Kaito isn't that old either. But why on earth did she come looking for me, and what's with that unpleasant look in her eyes? The Countess spoke. "I heard there's a boy with blonde hair and black eyes in this mansion." Hearing the Countess's description, Layla immediately thought of Sane. The Countess asked, "Is it true? I also heard that the boy is a slave and his master is Lady Layla Hindaga, correct?" "Ah, that part is true," the Countess demanded. "Return him to me." Hearing that, Layla was stunned. The Countess growled, "He is not someone you have the right to treat as a slave. He is my family." Layla wondered, "Family? If they're Sane's family, then..." Layla was speaking but stopped short as Sane suddenly burst through the door. Seeing Sane, the Countess shot up. "Sane." She ran and fell into his arms. "Sane, I missed you so much. Ever since we parted, I've thought about you every single day." Layla stood timidly to the side, watching them. She thought to herself, "Cecily, I've heard that name from Sane before. She lived in the same orphanage as him, and is 2 years older than Sane. So he still has family who survived. This is something to be happy about and celebrate. But why do I feel so uneasy? A stranger." "That's right. I feel like I've become a stranger. He's found the family he's always longed for." "Of course, that's a good thing." Cecile shared her happy news with him. "Sane, I'm a countess now." Hearing the good news from Cecile, Sane replied, "Yeah, congratulations. I'm not telling you this just to get your congratulations. You know what I mean." To him, the Countess is probably more important than I am now. So he'll go back to his family, won't he? She could only sadly watch their reunion. Cecily said, "I came here to take you home. Let's go. This is a good thing for Sane." "But why does my heart feel so?" Suddenly, Sane said, "I'm not going." The atmosphere in the room grew tense, and Cecily asked, stunned, "Huh, what did you say? You can't be planning to stay here, can you?" "Why?" "Because I want to." Layla was completely surprised by his answer. It was completely different from what she had expected. Cecile yelled, "Who is this really about? Are you only doing this because you're afraid of the Marquis, Sane? I told you I'm a countess. I can protect you now. It's not because of the Marquis, it's because I want to. I want to stay here. That's my decision. I'm sorry, Cecile." "Huh? What on earth is going on?" Sane turned to Layla and said, "Hold on. Tell me it's not true, right?" Unable to accept it, she screamed, "I'm just misunderstanding things, right?" "Sion, wait, Cecile, the two of us." Cecile coldly yanked her hand away. "Why would you do this?" Pointing at Layla, she furiously demanded, "Whose child is she? What in the world did Hildaga do to our family?" He glanced at Layla, who was clutching her trembling hands as tears fell, and she said with a forced smile, "Oh, I just remembered I have something urgent to attend to, so I'll be leaving first. Sion, you don't need to see me out, just continue your conversation. Countess, please make yourself comfortable as well." "Well then, I'll be taking my leave." As she left, Sion quickly called after her, "Layla." After leaving the room, Layla ordered the maid, "No one is to enter until I call." "Yes, my lady." Layla walked down the hall in a daze, her face covered in tears, as Cecile's words echoed in her mind. Whose child is she? What did Hindaga do to our family? Layla felt like she was about to collapse. While back in the room, Cecile asked, "What are you doing? You're probably going to spend the whole day explaining this to me. Are you just going to stand there and talk, huh? You can skip the part about you being crazy. I don't need to hear it, I already know everything." Sitting down on the chair, Sion suddenly laughed. Cecile asked, "Why are you laughing? It's just what? I had a dream where I was talking to you just like I am now. And in it, I also said I was crazy. Why did I say that then? Because I had killed too many people, and because I didn't feel a shred of guilt. I was so shameless it even scared you. What a crazy dream. Is that so? What a ridiculous dream. So who exactly did you kill? Hindaga and everyone connected to them. Like the servant who led you to the guest room, or the maid who served tea," she asked. "You killed that many people in such a disgusting way?" Sion said. "Cecile, I'm sorry." She immediately replied, "Take that back. I'll pretend I didn't hear a thing. Even so, I am still sorry." "Hey, you know you're not sane, right?" I'm sorry. I know, that's why I'm apologizing." "Then stop doing things you have to apologize for, can't you?" "I can't, I'm sorry." "Ha, I'm not doing this because I hate you. You're the one who will be in the most pain, right? I only hope for one thing." "What is it?" "Just that the child doesn't die." Cecile froze for a moment, her expression falling in disappointment as she realized just how important Layla was to him. She thought to herself, what an affectionate way to refer to her, that child. And come to think of it, it's not just Sion, she is too. She snapped out of her thoughts, walked over calmly and said, "All right, I know you're doing better than you think. It's not because this is a normal place. It's all thanks to that child." Moving to sit right next to him, she tilted her head and asked, "So, do you like her?" "I don't know." "You don't know if you like her or not? How old are you?" 15 or 14. You're not a child anymore. How can you not understand your own feelings?" "I don't know if I can even define this feeling. It's just, I hated her so bitterly I wanted to kill her, but at some point, that became impossible. Now, I don't want to see her get hurt. I want to make my desires a reality. And for that, I am willing to do anything. That's all." Cecily thought it was only natural, because there is no feeling more wonderful than that. "Sane, let me ask you one more thing. That child is a noble, right? So she'll probably marry someone from a noble family too?" "I suppose so. What do you plan to do when that child becomes a noble lady and walks down the aisle? What do you think you will do?" "I won't do anything." "Nothing at all? That's right. I'll probably check to see if the other person has any dangerous or risky traits. I'll be on my guard until I feel it's safe." "Really? You mean you'd feel more at ease if the person that child marries doesn't pose any danger? Right? That's right. How ridiculous. I don't even know what kind of expression I'm making right now. Do I really not know? Or am I just trying to suppress my own feelings?" Cecily had her own thoughts. If he really likes Layla Hindaga, but thinks he has no connection to the Hindagas, I don't think I need to make him realize it. To be honest, I don't want to see these two end up together at all. If I can just be by his side to protect him, I can always step back, but a promised future is different. The moment Sane promises a future, he won't be able to abandon his own beliefs. He will always remember the truth, that she is a Hindaga, one of the people who killed his family and took everything from him. If that happens, Sane will suffer alone and fall ill. At that thought, Cecily clapped her hands, breaking the heavy atmosphere. "Let's end this conversation here. I will respect your decision. Thank you. Let's change the subject. Aren't you curious about how I was doing all that time?" "All right, I am curious." Over with Layla, she was awakened by a knock on the door. Still groggy from sleep, she thought. "Is it already time for Mary to give me my medicine? Come in." Seeing Sane enter the room, she called out in a daze. "Huh, Sane?" He walked in and said with an awkward expression, "I saw her off and then came back." Earlier Cecily told me to apologize to you." "Apologize? The Countess said that to me? That's the message she sent?" "She didn't do anything wrong to me at all. Next time you're in contact with her, please pass that along for me." Seeing his skeptical expression, she repeated shyly, "I'm serious. But Sane, what is it? Are you really not going to leave?" "I think I already made you a promise. I said I would make sure you get everything you want, and I think I have to be by your side to do that, don't I?" His words made her heart flutter. "Yes, that's right. I got so excited I just blurted that out. Sane is staying to meet the family just for me." Thinking it over, she clenched her fists and gathered all her courage. "Sane, I have something to tell you. You've already told me about your family, but I don't think I've properly introduced my family to you yet. Of course, it's fine if you don't want to hear it, but just in case." Before she could finish, he said, "I want to hear it. I want to hear about it. Layla, you can tell me." With Sane listening intently, she began to tell him about the marriage between her mother and the villain, which was entirely political. The mother, who had once abandoned her children, she married a villain. Only because she was under pressure from her family, my mother was too kind-hearted, living with such a villain when she couldn't stand it anymore. She even tried to change her husband's wicked behavior, but to a villain like him, her persuasive words only made him more irritated and annoyed, and they frequently had intense arguments. Then one day, my mother was found dead in her bed from drinking poison. In her will, it was written that she had fallen in love with another man, and she wrote that she couldn't live with the guilt any longer. When we returned from Mother's funeral, everyone from the Marquis's side of the family relentlessly criticized us. "What a filthy secret. Are you sure those children don't belong to that other man? Shameless. How dare you brats return to the castle? Don't treat them like family anymore. They might pass on their filthy, wicked blood to their own children." Whether the will was real or fake didn't matter anymore, all because my mother was hated by the wicked people in this castle. My mother's will was treated as the absolute truth. Sister, Layla naively asked me that day, did Mom really do something bad? So was she so scared that she left us behind? Of course not. Mom definitely isn't the kind of person to do something bad, and she would never be the type to abandon us for a reason like that. But sister, there are so many things that are really strange. For starters, Mom never even had the time to do something like that. Second, they burned the will immediately without showing us, because it wasn't her handwriting, right? Because if we saw it, we would have known that the will was a fake. I think so too. There must be a hidden truth in all of this. Maybe this whole thing was planned by that villain from start to finish. But what can we do? No one in this castle will believe us anymore. Then let's go to our mother's hometown. If we ask for help there, I'm sure they won't turn a blind eye. But some people didn't even attend the funeral. Just think about why they wouldn't come. It's because they think Mom brought shame to the family. So on the other hand, what if we bring a clue that could restore our family's honor? Let's do it, sister, if we plan it together. In the end, Layla wholeheartedly agreed. Okay, but this will take a considerable amount of time. 2 years passed in a flash. My brother and sister said their goodbyes as they left to carry out their plan. We will be right back. Layla asked sadly, can't I go with you? I don't like being alone. The journey is a bit long and the weather is very cold, so you can't come with us, Layla. Instead, I will protect you. Your brother and I are going to see Grandma. Once we get there, we'll ask her to scold the wicked people who made Mom sad, and maybe she'll even let us live with her there. Layla brightened up. Really? Then does that mean we don't have to live here anymore? Yes. So Layla, no matter what happens here, you have to survive. She held out her pinky for me to make a promise. Promise me, Layla? Layla smiled happily and locked pinkies with my sister. And so, my sister and my brother left for our mother's family home. Forever, they never came back, neither my sister nor my brother. They passed away before they could even reach my mother's family home. Right after leaving the Hindaga territory, they were ambushed by bandits, and everyone with them was killed. The two of them only brought a few sets of clothes and a little money for travel expenses. That monster ordered the knights to go and capture the bandits. As soon as my sister and brother's funeral was over, news came that the bandits had been caught. I snuck out to see the lead bandit at dawn on the day he was scheduled to be executed. I asked him why he killed my sister and brother. He hesitated for a moment, then said while crying, I'll be a better father in my next life. I couldn't say a single word back, but when I got older and thought about it, it all felt very strange. My sister and brother weren't the only ones in the carriage. Besides them, there were also servants and the coachman. How could one ordinary man kill all of them? If he was strong and courageous enough to do that, why was he caught so easily without a single witness? A loving father, who thought of his daughter until the very end, how could he so easily confess to his crimes at the trial, when there were no witnesses or incriminating evidence? Perhaps that man wasn't the one who killed my brother and sister. Sane placed his hand on hers reassuringly. You don't need to say anything else, because I think I already know. Maybe a part of her was comforted. In any case, my sister's final words became her last wish. I want to fulfill that wish. That's all. That's why I have to live. Sane said gently, you can do it. I'll help you see it through. It was only then that I realized the real reason why I told Sane my story. It wasn't because it would be unfair for me to be the only one who heard his. Maybe I just wanted to talk to Sane. I couldn't hold back the tears that streamed down my face. Even though I'm a Lindaga myself, I absolutely despise the Lindagas. Thank you, Sane. So please don't hate me. Please don't leave. That monster has gotten very strange. No, he was always strange, but now he's become even more on edge. Enough for everyone in the castle to avoid him, and to stay as far away from that demon as possible. I've been spending most of my days in my bedroom, just sprawled out on the bed. Layla sighed. This is so boring, but I still have to keep at it. And ever since the Countess came here, things have been like this. Since I'm involved, I can't just ignore it. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. A voice called out, My lady, it is I, Wynnum. Layla shot up. Come in. Opening the door and glancing around, he said, Huh? Is no one else here? Where did Mary go? Mary went to visit her sister. But what's going on in my room? Wynnum said. I have something important to tell you. Didn't you and Master Sane save my life? That's why I feel I can't just sit idly by. What are you talking about? First, could you confirm something for me? Okay. I'm talking about Countess Kiter, the one who visited us a while ago. You're on good terms with Master Sane, aren't you? You came to pick Sane up that day? Yes, that's right. Oh my gosh, is that true? Why are you so surprised? Weren't you just asking to confirm it? I was just guessing, my lady. It was a necessary condition for my theory to be correct. What kind of explanation is that? Wynnum said that after the Countess left, the Marquis often talks to himself. I don't know what that woman did, but he asked me what I thought about why an unchained dog wouldn't run away, Layla repeated. An unchained dog? It seems you've already figured it out. Perhaps the Countess is a hostage, a leash binding Mr. Sane. So far, there has been no information about the Countess's background. Actually, that makes sense. If she's in a similar situation to Mr. Sane, they are probably friends or relatives, and the Marquis brought Mr. Sane to the castle, holding the Countess's safety in his hands, so Mr. Sane can't fight back or even escape. But right now, he's in a position where he can't do anything to the Countess. Isn't that surprising? While Mr. Sane is still in the castle, I only heard 2 sentences, but I was able to deduce this much, and not wanting to forget your favor, I came to see you, my lady, as soon as I got closer to the truth. So that's what happened? She finally understood why he didn't dodge the arrows in the forest, the reason why he didn't escape even when he had 1,000 chances. All of it. The reason the Countess looked at her that way, all of it. As she thought about it, Layla found it hard to breathe, and Wynnum called out, "My lady." And just like that, Layla fainted. Wynnum cried out in a panic, "Lady Layla." Later, he said the reason I fainted was because of extreme stress. In other words, it meant there was nothing too particularly wrong with my health. What a relief. Mary couldn't help but worry. "My lady, are you really all right?" If there was any problem, it was that my mind was in complete chaos because of Wynnum's story, but I didn't even have time to dwell on my thoughts. Layla replied, "I'm fine. Elvin already said it was nothing." Exactly 4 days later, it was my 15th birthday party. "Lady Hindaga, happy birthday. You look absolutely beautiful today." Layla appeared, radiant in a luxurious gown, as the noble ladies surrounded her with praise. "It's true, the Marquis must be so proud. Do you think there will be a line of handsome men waiting to propose to you today? Thank you, everyone, for your kind words. Well now, I hope you all have a wonderful day and get home safely." Stepping away from the crowd, Layla thought, "I finally escaped." Before I came back, I was very active in high society, but I still can't get used to it. Both then and now, I've been quite beautiful, but being too beautiful is the problem. I have to be more beautiful than anyone else, because that's an order from that demon himself. I really have no idea what he's planning. I'm constantly surrounded by beautiful and expensive things. It makes me really anxious that he's doing all of this for no apparent reason. Suddenly, a voice came from behind. "Happy birthday, my lady." Layla turned around. "Oh, Mr. Taylor?" Taylor smiled and said, "What is the guest of honor doing hiding in a corner like this?" "It's just..." "Well, you look like a completely different person," Layla replied. "You're complimenting me, right?" "Of course." "So why are you all by yourself?" "I simply find this uninteresting. This is not the party I requested. I heard that a Marquis's birthday party is only supposed to be held at the request of the person in question. That's how it's supposed to be. But this party today is a complete mess. Father just organized it on his own whim. For some reason, you haven't looked very happy ever since you walked in." Hearing that, Layla thought, "No kidding. I feel like I'm going to throw up being with this devil." Layla asked, "By the way, Sir Taylor, is there any way to call Sion here?" "What? Sion, you say? I want to get out of here, but I suppose I can't." "Ah, I understand now. You mean you're bored because Sion isn't here, right?" Something like that. Would it be alright if I brought him here? In a servant's uniform?" Layla was worried, wondering if that outfit could really hide San's appearance. "We can probably have him wear a wig and a mask like that servant over there." "Oh, that should be fine, right? Then please wait for me for a moment, my lady." Layla's spirits lifted. "Sane can come here. I wonder what he'll say the moment he sees me. It would be better if Sane dressed up nicely too." Layla imagined Sane appearing, looking incredibly dapper, growing more handsome by the second, with a dashing presence that would make everyone turn to look. No one would think he's the slave that everyone despises. If our eyes were to accidentally meet, I'd surely be mesmerized and fall for him. Suddenly, Layla felt irritated. Why am I in such a foul mood? Regardless, no one could possibly overlook Sane with his appearance. A sudden voice made her turn her head. She was flustered when she saw it was the Marquis who had called her. "Did you call for me, father?" he said. "Go on and greet him. This is Count Kidon the Chain. He came all this way himself to wish you a happy birthday." Kidon gently kissed Layla's hand and said politely, "Happy birthday, Lady Layla. Surely you haven't forgotten me? Just go enjoy yourselves for a while and come back later." "Ah, yes. Lady Layla, you don't remember me?" Hearing this, Layla's face darkened, and she turned her head away despite Kidon waiting for a reply. Seeing her silence, Kidon spoke again. "I was only waiting for the day I could return, and at last, I am finally back in my homeland." Uninterested in what Kidon was saying, Layla awkwardly congratulated him. "Are you still in the kingdom at the moment?" "Please say you're not, please," Layla thought to herself. Kidon replied cheerfully, "Yes, I am." "Damn it," Layla cursed under her breath. He continued, "Then I suppose it's about time we set a date for our engagement ceremony, right?" Layla jumped in shock. "What? Engagement ceremony? Don't you remember? I've already proposed to you. As I recall, I never gave you an answer. Then you can give me one now. When would you like to hold the wedding ceremony?" "I have never considered marrying you." The air suddenly fell silent. Layla clarified, "To be more precise, I have no intention of marrying or getting engaged to anyone. Besides," she thought to herself, "especially not to someone who would slaughter slaves just because he finds them disgusting." "But you have to get married eventually," Kidon said to somebody. "Why would you think that?" He explained it's because Marquis Hindaga wouldn't let that happen. Isn't he the type to sell off expensive things rather than hold on to them? This is something that will lose its value over time, so he'll absolutely sell it at its peak price. I am the one who can buy you, Lady Layla, for the highest price, and I will treat you better than anyone else. What do you say? Layla couldn't imagine it, thinking to herself, what do you mean? What do I say? This is the worst possible outcome. He doesn't seem like much of a talker, so I'll have to try my best. With that, she called out to the Count. You can call me Kidon. No, Count, first of all, I must apologize. Everything I just said was a lie. What? As you said, I'm a pretty expensive item, but shouldn't I get to decide where I'm sold? To be more precise, you are the very last person I would want to be sold to. Whether it's your face, your voice, or even your name, you're just not my type. I'm truly sorry. But can you understand how I feel? Even among the people who pursue you, there must be some you just can't stand the moment you see their face. No matter how good the terms are, how could you live with a person you can't even stand to look at? So please, understand my situation, Count, she thought nervously. I wonder if he feels terrible? Is he sad? I have to get out of here, go to that devil, and tell him this whole thing never happened. After listening to her heartfelt confession, Ki-don calmly said, I see. So Lady Layla, what kind of face, voice, and name do you prefer? Pardon? What kind of person is your type, Lady Layla? Why are you so curious about that? I'm just wondering if it's anyone I know. And what would you do if you did? I don't know, kill them, perhaps? If I just find and kill that person, wouldn't that be fine? Because in the end, only the people who aren't your type would be left for you, Layla. She was terrified by his ruthlessness, her legs trembling, and she collapsed to the floor, unable to stand. Seeing her pale face as she sat on the ground, Kaido said, Ah, okay, I was just joking, but you look quite surprised. Without needing Kaido's help, she got up and said, I'm fine. Shouldn't you have taken my hand to get up, Lady Layla? Or do you already have someone special? Layla quickly denied it. No, that's not it at all. I can just get up on my own. Ki-don gently caressed Layla's cheek. I'm not asking because I intend to harm anyone. I'm just curious to know who has caught your eye, my lady. I'm simply curious. She pushed his hand away and said, I would love to satisfy your curiosity. I really would. But there is truly no one. Hearing her answer, he said happily, Is that so? That's a shame. You don't look too well, Lady Layla. You should get some rest today. We don't have to decide on the engagement date immediately. Layla politely excused herself to leave. I will be staying for 1 week, so I'll see you again. Layla gritted her teeth and rushed away. Hurry, hurry, hurry. I have to get out of the ballroom before I run into him again. That demon already got what he wanted, so he won't try to catch me. Today was supposed to be my birthday party, so why is everything so difficult? Damn it. Lost in thought, she bumped into a man. Why is his chest as hard as a rock? He's not a knight, but a servant. Layla quickly said, thank you. She suddenly realized the person she bumped into was Sane. Sane smiled and said, Happy birthday, Layla. She felt shy seeing him. Did Sir Taylor call you here? Did he give you the clothes and the wig? Uh-huh. So where did he go? I don't know. Sane stared at Layla without saying a word. She wondered, huh? Why all of a sudden? Then she realized why. Layla immediately struck a pose, twirling around, and asked brightly, What do you think? Seeing this, Sane blushed and replied with a smile, It's beautiful. Layla, pleased, said, What was that? I couldn't hear you. Sane took her hand and said, Let's go outside. I'll tell you again. While Don was getting some air on the balcony, he said enjoyably, I'll just enjoy this pleasant time for a bit, then head back. So her way of not seeing me off was actually pretty cute, that Layla Hindenburg. He chuckled as he remembered, There's a limit to how much you can lie. This face and voice are not my type. Before I leave this mansion, I'm sure she'll repeat that line many more times. She's so stubborn, he thought. I wonder what Father's reaction will be. Haha, but that has its own cute side to it, doesn't it? Suddenly he froze. Ah, the sight of Layla with another man caught his eye. Meanwhile, Layla looked quite happy as Don frowned and said, This isn't cute at all, is it? It's not that I missed Layla a lot while studying abroad. In fact, I had almost forgotten about Layla while I was overseas. But the moment I got off the ship and set foot in my homeland, out of everyone, the first person I thought of was Layla Hindaga. How had Layla Hindaga changed since we last met? When we met again, how would she react? I immediately sent a letter to Marquis Hindaga to ask for permission to visit his estate. The reply came shortly after and mentioned the date of Layla Hindaga's birthday party. I had to confirm it again when I was finally reunited with Layla, now that she was all grown up. I am still very much in love with Layla Hindaga, but why would she reject me and go to that servant? This seems like the kind of thing a clueless noble lady who knows nothing of the world would come up with. This will be effective in making my father come to his senses. But seeing that scene with my own eyes, things won't go so easily. Layla Hidera was sitting and watching the moon with Sane. Layla's heart was joyful. The moon is so beautiful tonight. Sane looks so handsome under the moonlight too, or even more than handsome. But come to think of it, some people say that everything is amazing after becoming a hero, right? Amazing? I guess that's not the wrong word. She was deep in thought when he said, Let's go, huh? I think it's time for us to go back inside. Oh, right. That's right. It's already gotten dark and I haven't done anything yet. What a shame. Something seemed to be bothering Sane. Layla was about to ask Sane what was so sudden, but before she could finish, a voice cut in. This voice, could it be Kitten, provoking me to call him by his name, that slave, the chain count. He spoke in a mocking tone, not a servant, but a slave. Layla was stunned. How could he possibly know? Did he go find that madman after seeing me with Sane? Kitten stepped closer, saying, Lady Layla. Sane stepped between them, preventing Kitten from getting any closer to Layla, his expression hardening. Kitten said, I'll give you 1 week. Come to me and repent for your sins, and if you don't show up, or if you show up and say something I don't want to hear, something very interesting will happen. I wonder what will happen to Lady Layla then. That would be very good for me. Layla angrily clutched her dress, thinking, This lunatic is anything but normal. Sane reminded her, Please go inside, milady. It is very late, Kadan said. Just think about it. I did not come here to have a proper conversation with Lady Layla. She thought to herself, Then why did he even come here? Did he really come all this way just to tell me that? Well then, I hope you two get back safely. After he walked a few steps away, Layla had to pause because of Kaiden's call. He stressed, just 1 week, I will be waiting for you. Layla was momentarily troubled, but then she turned and left decisively. Let's go, Sane. Back in her room, she immediately collapsed onto her bed in exhaustion. Sane said, it looks like you are back safely now, so I will be on my way. Layla, she held him back. Don't make me work so hard for nothing. Just sit down. How many times have you sat on my bed already? I understand. It is rare for us to have time alone, she thought. It has been happening sometimes lately, has not it? Even when I am already on the bed, he still seems reluctant to get close. Suddenly, Sane asked quietly, who was that earlier? Ah, he is just a noble. You do not have to worry about him. He said he is only staying for a short time and will be leaving soon. By the way, we are not close at all. Actually, I think it is quite unfortunate. Sane nodded as well. It seems that way, does not it? He replied. Especially that smile. It did not look good at all. I guess I am not the only one who feels that way. Of course. As they talked, Layla was lost in thought. Now that Sane can smile like this, is he feeling more comfortable now? I feel like Sane is very happy right now. So, does that mean we are friends? Would Sane be offended if I considered him my friend? She asked quietly. Hey, Sane. Layla smiled and said, I think I should wash my face and get to bed. I feel a bit sticky after being in the garden for so long. Layla's radiant smile made Sane's ears flush red. I already told you. I will call for Mary on my way out. Thank you. As the door closed behind Sane, she thought to herself, he is gone. I wonder, does he consider me a friend? It is a good thing I did not ask. I think I would feel sad whether he said we were friends or not. I know it is foolish, but I am sure of it. Then a voice suddenly called out, Milady, it is me, Mary. I will prepare your bathwater right away. Thank you. I should hurry and wash up to clear my head. Actually, there are plenty of other things I need to worry about. While she was in the bath, Layla was still preoccupied with Kaiden's words. What am I going to do about that madman? He is. Who the hell decides something like that in just 1 week? So what if he's a count? Does he think he's the emperor? He thinks he can do whatever he wants with me. What? He wouldn't do anything to Sane, right? No. Of course not. Stop thinking such bad thoughts. Just how strong is Sane? If he fought that bastard 10 times, would he win all 10 of them? I bet he'll try to take advantage of moments when I'm worried like this, so I just have to make sure I don't get swept along. That way, nothing can happen. Yep, that's right. During the time Kiddo and Jessica decided to stay at the Marquise's mansion, Layla decided to act as if he wasn't there, pretending not to see him even when he was right in front of her eyes. She pretended not to hear his voice, and even when Kaiden greeted her face to face, she would walk right past without a single glance, as if he were an invisible man. Each time, Layla desperately hoped that the precious pride of that noble would be wounded enough for him to take back his promise to buy her for a higher price than anyone else. And just like that, a week finally passed. Nothing happened at all today, right? Thank goodness, I guess. He was just saying that in the heat of the moment. I knew it was a bit ridiculous, but I was still worried because that guy is a total psycho. So this is what it feels like to be standing on the edge of a cliff. Well then, I can finally sleep peacefully tonight. I've been dying from sleep deprivation all week. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Come on in. It must be Mary, right? I wonder what's going on at this hour. A maid entered and said, Greetings, Lady Layla. Layla looked at the maid in silent surprise. This isn't Mary. I think I've seen her face somewhere before, but why would she come to my room? With that thought, she asked, What is it? I've brought you some tea. Is this tea good for calming my nerves? She replied, This tea will help you sleep better. Phew. Is that so? But why the sudden tea? I didn't ask for any. Mary asked me to bring it. She said you haven't been sleeping well lately. Then where is Mary right now? The maid suddenly started to tremble. She said her younger brother came down with a sudden fever. Layla thought. Mary's little brother does tend to get sick whenever the weather changes. In that case, just leave the tea on the table. The maid said nervously, La lady, Mary told me I had to make sure you finished it. I understand. Layla picked up the teacup, thinking to herself that Mary worries about too many things. She doesn't need to worry about stuff like this. I should probably tell Owen to have him look after Mary's little brother. Mary hasn't told me about this yet. After finishing the drink, Layla said, All right, is this good? Thank you, my lady. Well then, I'll be going. Layla cut her off. Wait a second. Yes? I'm sorry, but what is your name? It's Audrey, my lady. Audrey, thank you for bringing the tea today. No, it's nothing at all. Please rest well. With that, she left the room. The moment the door closed, Layla let out a huge yawn. She lay down on the bed and thought, Is this the tea working already? I'm getting really sleepy. Then, someone pushed open the door and entered the room. Sane? It was Kidden. He silently approached, looking down at the bed with a dark gaze. Suddenly, he drew his sword, and without any hesitation, he plunged it down decisively. But there was no one under the blanket. Realizing this, he glanced behind him and asked, You've clearly learned how to use a sword, haven't you, Sane? By the way, you're pretty fast. As Sane stood staring at him with a blank face, he sneered and asked, Hey, what the hell are you anyway? The Marquis said you're just Layla Hindaga's loyal dog, and the reason you didn't run away even when the leash was snapped is because you were still thinking of your master. right? You really are a very loyal dog. What could you possibly do for Layla Hindaga? If that's the case, then just be a good boy and die. If you die here by my hand, I can guarantee that Layla Hindaga will be safe for the rest of her life. But if you end up making a scene and escaping, I can't guarantee that. In any case, if she loses the dog that always protects her and the fiancé willing to spend a fortune to buy her, what do you think will happen to Layla Hindaga? The Marquis will try to sell that thing off before she loses her value. If she's unlucky, she might be sold to some pervert who enjoys beating his wife. You might not know this, but there are far more scumbags like that in the world than you think. It would surely break your heart to hear news like that, he said, pointing his sword at Sion. But if I get to witness that face of yours rotting away, I swear I will protect Layla Hindaga. So, how about it? Will you trade your worthless life for your master's safety? At that, Sion finally spoke in a calm voice. There is nothing difficult about that. So you're not mute after all? All right, have it your way. Suddenly, Sion grabbed his sword with his bare hands and pulled it toward himself to impale his own body. As his steely words rang out, "You may see my heart stop beating, but you will never see my face rot." Will that be a problem? He said. You insolent bastard, what the hell are you rambling about? Sion continued. Swear one more time that if I die here by your hand, you will not let Layla Hindaga be harmed for the rest of your life. He ground his teeth in anger and said, On my name and my family's, I already promised, you damn bastard. Keep your promise, if you fail to keep it while you still live on this earth. At that, Sion shoved the sword deeper into himself, causing it to slip from Kidden's hand and leaving him completely stunned. Seeing Sion's actions, he thought to himself, When I saw Layla Hindaga strolling with her servants, I thought many of them were just kindling meant to provoke the Marquis and burn him to ashes. But that man who was supposed to be a servant was actually a slave. After discovering that he had been close with Layla Hindaga for quite some time, a strange suspicion began to grow in me whenever I saw Layla Hindaga sitting next to him. Thoughts I had never even imagined started to appear in my mind. Layla Hindaga wasn't doing this just to defy the Marquis. She and that slave were for real. At that thought, he slammed his fist against the wall. Damn it, this is insane. Layla Hindaga actually fell for a filthy and lowly slave, an arrogant bastard who didn't know his place and still acted like a hero even when facing that end. I want the old Layla Hindaga back. He turned around and asked, How is the task I assigned going? His subordinate replied, So far, nothing strange has happened yet. The maid assigned to the task will leave the mansion at sunrise. Of course, I told them to handle it cleanly so there are no loose ends. What about Layla Hindaga? She's asleep now. She's expected to wake up tomorrow night. Tomorrow night? He tossed the towel aside and left. Get in here and clean this up. Let me know the moment Layla Hindaga wakes up. Yes, my lord. He thought to himself as he walked away. I'm quite looking forward to this. How will she react when she receives my little gift? I hope she learns her lesson. She'll learn what happens when you waste the opportunity I've given you. Meanwhile, Layla murmured in a daze. Is it still nighttime? Why do I feel so weak? Mary called out anxiously. My lady, are you awake? Can you try to sit up? I'll get some water for your throat. Here you are, my lady. Layla took it with a trembling hand. It's warm, but please drink it slowly, my lady. Thank you, Mary. My throat already feels better. But how long have I been asleep? It feels like forever. You've been in a deep sleep for 2 days, my lady. 2 days? Elvin said it seems you were given a sleeping potion. Layla was shocked and suspicious. A sleeping potion? Could it be Kidon? The demon chain? Mary, do you know a maid named Adre? She has shoulder-length brown hair and slightly tanned skin. It sounds like you're talking about. Is something wrong? There was a maid who looked like that, but her name wasn't Adre. It was Layla. And she quit yesterday. Hearing this, Layla cried out in shock. The Count. My lady, are you all right? She muttered his name, Kaiden. Get Count Kaiden for me, now. If he's looking for me, tell him I'll come. Right away. Then Layla waited for him. A short while later, his voice called out, Lady Layla, may I come in? You'll catch a cold dressed like that. I heard you've been sleeping for a few days. You look so frail. I must say, I'm surprised you're in poorer health than I expected. I wonder if you've always been this weak, or is this something new? Layla cut him off, Count, the chain. He feigned ignorance and continued. It seems you've lost some weight over the past few days. Have you been eating well? Layla immediately snapped, using his full name, Kaidon Jacob. He stopped. Speak your mind, Lady Layla. What did you do? Whatever do you mean? Sane. What did you do to him? I set him free. You what? I told him he's no longer a slave. I told him to go wherever he pleased. And so, he left, looking quite happy about it. Ha! Do you take me for a fool, Count? Or perhaps you wish to marry a thoughtless idiot who can't think. For herself? He smiled nonchalantly and replied, That's right. I am quite fond of thoughtless dolls. But of course, I could never force you to become one, Lady Layla. What I just told you was only partly true. What do you mean by that? It means that Slave is, in fact, gone. And to prove my point, I must add one more detail. He left without a single breath left in his body. The word struck Layla like lightning. Sane. It's because of me. He added, I wasn't planning on asking, but what the hell was that slave to you? He's clearly dead now, but his body vanished without a single trace. If there weren't any bloodstains left, I would have thought I was dreaming, which is why one of my plans failed. Such a shame. I was planning on giving Lady Layla a gift and was wondering between a hand, an ear, or a foot. Turns out my worrying was for nothing. Her hand clenched and trembled. You killed him yourself? I stabbed him in the heart with my own sword. As he spoke, he tapped his fingers. Ah, I wonder if you have anyone else. Is there another person whose heart I must pierce with my blade? Layla's lips curled into a cold smile. Yes, there is. My father. Take his hands, ears, and feet, and present them to me as a gift. Then, I will walk down the aisle with you, my Lord Count, with a contented smile. You don't have to smile, my doll. Then please leave. My business here is finished. How rude, Lady Layla. Are you the first person to summon me to your bedchamber? Let's have lunch together tomorrow. He looked at her lowered head and continued. Well then, have a pleasant evening. The moment the door closed, Layla stood and walked toward the bed, only to suddenly collapse. She struggled to hold onto the bed, panting. I'm exhausted. I still feel a little dizzy. I feel like I'm about to pass out, but I have to endure it. Just then, Mary rushed in, calling out in a panic. My lady! I'm so sorry, my lady. I should have stayed closer to you. SFX. Stumble. Layla grabbed Mary's hand. Wait! Seeing the injuries on Mary's hand, Layla asked in astonishment. What is this? Who did this? The servants? The soldiers? Or the knights? No, it's nothing like that. It's nothing serious, so please don't worry. Layla snapped. Nothing? Ha, fine. It's not like it would help if we knew who did it anyway. When morning comes, go to Elvin immediately. Use my name and ask him for the best medicine. It's really nothing to be concerned about. I'm more worried about you, my lady. Are you all right, my lady? I'm fine. How could anything be wrong with me? Mary said through her tears. I never thought the Count was that kind of person. I thought he was a good man who would make you happy. So why? I'm sorry for dragging you into this, Mary. My lady, what are you saying? Please don't apologize like that. You've done nothing wrong. I'm sure of it. Our lady is such a kind person. Then why? Layla clenched her trembling hand, blaming herself. No, Mary. This is all my fault. For letting Sane die and for your wrist ending up like this. This is the consequence of fighting for my own life. But is it a sin to try and survive? How unlucky. To be born the daughter of a demon, and to have caught the eye of a madman. Must I bear this pain? Mary hugged her mistress tightly to comfort her. It's going to be all right, our poor lady. In Marquis Hindaga's room, he saw Layla enter and asked, In my room this early in the morning? What is it? She retorted. Why did you do it, father? What? Why would you help Kaidan Jacob, father? That title of Count, where did you plan on tossing it? I've been thinking about that non-stop. Even if he is Kaidan Jacob, he can't just act as he pleases within the Marquise's territory, unless he has the backing of the master of this place. Hearing that, he admitted it, asking why I'd come here to ask when I already knew. I am the master of the Marquisate, and everything here is my property. That title was only lent to you. So you've already taken it back, father? That's right. In that case, allow me to change my question. Why did you suddenly want it back? Do I need a reason to take back what was originally mine? How strange. Why do I not feel the slightest bit of fear being stared at by this old madman? Did his face always have so many wrinkles? Since when did his eyes become so murky? Has he changed? Or is it? She smirked to herself. So that's how it is. His face hardened as he asked, Did you just laugh at me? Layla, what the hell do you think you're doing? She kept the smile on her face. I was someone trapped by the fragments of my childhood memories, so I couldn't do anything. That demon is just a mortal after all, an ordinary person who knows fear and has his own insecurities. That's why he's helping Kid in the Chain, because he's afraid of Sane. He's afraid that Unchained Dog will bite his neck like a fool. And now, only now that Sane is facing a fabricated death do I finally realize it. No, I should consider myself lucky, because right now I can finally cast aside the things that were clouding my vision. Seeing her open the door and leave, Mary asked worriedly, My lady, are you all right? You weren't scolded or punished, were you? Don't worry, Mary, because he can't touch me until he can get rid of me completely. Besides, Maria, I have a favor to ask you. Yes, please tell me what it is. Actually, Kid on the Chain invited me to lunch today. Oh my goodness, I'll go tell him that my lady hasn't fully recovered yet, so eating will be difficult. No, that's not the favor I wanted to ask, but I appreciate you worrying about me. Then what is it? Call the maids who are skilled with makeup here so they can have me ready before noon. Makeup? My lady, surely you don't mean. That's right, Mary. When I go to meet Kid on Jessica, I have to look so beautiful that he'll never be able to love anyone else. Don't worry too much. We're not doing this because I've given up on myself or because I'm plotting something wicked. Really? Yes, so I'm counting on you, Mary. Hurry and get everything ready. I understand, my lady. Layla lowered her gaze and thought to herself, Sane, I'm sorry for realizing everything so late, but from now on, things will be different. I won't just sit back and wait for you anymore. Meanwhile, Kidden was waiting for Layla. He thought to himself, is she not planning to show up? I wonder if I should forgive Layla Hindaga for her cute little act, or if I should teach her a lesson. Just then, a voice called out, Count, Lady Layla has arrived. Oh good, prepare the food immediately. Yes, right away. I was beginning to think you wouldn't come, Lady Layla. She sat down and said, I was still getting ready, so I'm a little late. It's fine. You look even more beautiful when you've had time to prepare. I've also gotten everything ready, since this is our first meal together, so I thought it would be wonderful to have it somewhere special. Yes, it certainly is. Do you like lamb? I had them prepare this with lamb, since I didn't know what you like to eat. Wait, Layla cut the Count off. I have something to say. Be my guest. Suddenly Layla said, Please marry me, he exclaimed smugly. Oh my, were you that exhausted last night? Are you getting drunk before you've even had a drink? I want to get married within 1 year. That's impossible, Lady Layla. Why not? Everything has a proper order. Then if we just follow the proper order, we can still get married within 1 year. Well, we can get engaged in 3 months, and then get married 3 months after that. You said we would get married within 1 year, but in reality, you've shortened that to only half a year. Either way, that's not possible. Can you please explain why? The marriage can only proceed after I inherit the title of Count. It's an oath I made to my father that I cannot break. Can't you speed things up and take over the title immediately? He put his wine glass down. Did something really happen last night? I regret it. I regret it so much. I almost missed out on the perfect marriage partner. I was regretting it all night long. About my previous actions. What you said was absolutely right. My father will sell me off to anyone before my own value fades away. Then I imagined myself being sold to some old man, a rich one, and I suddenly felt terrified. I don't want to miss out on you, Count, so I will say it one more time. Please marry me. Hearing that, he pondered, well, I am very pleased to see such a proactive attitude from you. But the timing of my succession still can't be moved up. My father won't renounce his title for at least another 3 years. I can't just force him to give it up, can I? What a pity. Suddenly, a servant announced, we will now serve lunch for the two of you. The dishes were brought out quickly. Kidon said politely, please, Lady Layla. Yes, our engagement ceremony will be held in 2 months. She replied in acceptance, all right. Is there any engagement gift you would like? As for that, no. Instead, I hope you will hold a truly magnificent ceremony when the engagement is over. Announce to everyone that you and I are engaged. Lady Layla, it's only been 1 day, and you've become so adorable. She raised her wine glass and asked, so you don't like it? He raised his glass as well and replied, how could I not? I will make our dear Lady Layla the one to have an engagement ceremony, the grandest in all of history. That evening, standing on the balcony and looking outside, Layla thought to herself, I still feel nauseous, even though I've already thrown up my entire lunch. I suppose for now, I'll just have to endure it. I can't possibly have a comfortable meal with that Kidon. Just then, an urgent voice called out, my lady, Sir Taylor, I apologize for being so sudden at this hour, my lady, but I just heard something very strange. What I heard? It's all lies, right? What did you hear? That Sane was murdered. That can't be true. I know how strong Sane is. While I was away, you guys are just making things up to tease me, right? Layla suddenly realized. I get it. They gave me a sleeping pill and sent Taylor away so no one could protect Sane. Layla suddenly burst out laughing. Ha ha ha. Taylor called out in surprise. Lady Layla, I'm not lying. Everything I said is the truth. Taylor asked in shock. What? Who? The Knights of the Chain and the Marquis? Those two were the ones who murdered Sane? Hearing that, Taylor turned around without another word. Layla quickly asked, where are you going? To get revenge. I'm going to make those bastards pay for what they did to Sane, so please let me go, my lady. No, I can't bear to see the only knight I'm close to die so senselessly. Die senselessly? Are you planning to take on my father and the Count all by yourself? You know that's reckless, so save yourself. Taylor screamed, losing his composure. I don't want to. Layla grabbed him by the collar and pulled him back. Listen carefully, Sir Taylor. Sane will be back soon. He's still alive, so he will return. What are you talking about? I see, you can let go of me now. You don't believe my words, do you? You said you only heard that Sane was killed, right? Haven't you heard this part? That Sane's body has disappeared? Taylor asked, stunned. What's that supposed to mean? Trust me, Taylor. Sane died, but he will come back to life. I'm sure of it. So stay alive until Sane returns, in about 5 years. In exactly 3 more years, you'll be able to hear news that Sane is alive. How could you possibly know that? Because I've been through it myself. I know the future. I've turned back time many times. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not, but believe this instead. That Sane will return. Tears fell from Taylor's eyes. I believe that Sane will come back, but can I really wait until that day? If we just let the people who murdered Sane be, I'll probably go crazy before 3 years are up. Layla requested, Taylor, go to the palace and become a knight there. You're telling me to leave the Marquisate? To go somewhere with no backup? Layla placed a hand on her chest. I will create an opportunity for you to go to the north. I felt like I was going crazy from the wait too. Then, sometime later, to Lady Layla. It's quite an energetic morning. The weather's gotten cold lately. Have you been well? I've befriended a knight named Rydan, and it's great to have a partner to train with. I'm still trying my best to improve my skills on my off days. My body felt sluggish again, and training was very difficult. Another knight named Nisan laughed at me for it, and I promised myself I wouldn't let that happen again. I'll keep this brief. By the way, congratulations on your engagement. From Taylor Egerton Dream, the knight who once took care of her. After reading the letter, Layla laughed and said, Ha, he's so impatient. Still, it seems he's living quite well. She asked the butler, did you bring a pen and ink? I'll write a reply right away. The butler immediately responded, right here. She picked up the pen, set it to the page, and began to write. What a coincidence. I received your letter just as I was thinking of you. I'm so very happy to hear such good news. It's such a lazy afternoon, isn't it? But you're still training hard, right? I hope that all the effort you put in will turn into skill. Anyway, thank you for the letter. Thank you for your congratulations on my engagement. From Layla. When she was done, she gave it to the butler. Please seal this letter and have it sent for me. Not that it matters, it'll be opened and read before being sent anyway. I am aware of that, my lady. With that, the butler left. Layla sat lost in thought. Sir Taylor, you're still well, right? As she thought this, she burned the letter, and separate letters appeared on Taylor's letter. Pieced together, they formed a message. I am still waiting, she thought, because this wait will be well worth it. Later, in the Marquis's office, last night in my dream, I saw the future. The Marquis said, people say that we can't dream of the future. I think this is just a temporary phenomenon. Then what did you see? A future where those who invest in Karen will reap enormous profits. Huge profits from Karen? Right now, the profits aren't high. The largest shareholder is Daima, and Sangria is a very exceptional person. Father, try looking into him. Why are you telling me about this dream, now that your slave is dead? Layla replied with a smile. In the next few years, I will become the wife of the Count of the Chains, and will be leaving this castle. It's your daughter's final gift to you, father. You consider me your father? I have always obeyed you, father, and I accepted Sane's death long ago. I actually really like my fiancé. Whether you believe me or not is unimportant. I've said everything I needed to. I'll be leaving now, he then asked. You called it an engagement gift. Am I to take it as such? You may think of it that way. With that, she walked out and closed the door. Just as I expected. He's suspicious, but at the same time, he believes what I said. To satisfy his greed, I just have to stick to the plan. When she realized that Marquis Hindaga was also just a man, Layla remembered the things that she could do. There was no time to wait for Sion to return, nor to wait for God's punishment to befall the Marquis. Even if there are gods, there is no divine punishment. No matter how much I pray, God will not punish the living. I decided I would get my revenge. That is something I can do as a human. Just then, she called out to the person in front of her. Henry, he responded. Layla Hindaga, you're insane. Are you really going to get engaged to that count? Where did the brother with a name like the blue sky go? You want to get into father's good graces, right? Let me help you. There is someone who can be of help to father in the future. I came to know this person through my fiancé. Fiancé? Don't you want to know who it is? If you build a relationship with him first, maybe father will start to see you differently. He asked her what she wanted. Well, an apology can't just be empty words. It has to be a sincere one. Apologize to me properly. He immediately snapped. What? Are you crazy? Why should I? Are you out of your mind? Layla brushed past him. Well, I guess I should go then? Have fun, Henry. Have a good afternoon. He quickly grabbed her hand. Wait, hold on. She asked in surprise. What's this? Then slapped his hand away. If you're going to do it, then hurry up. He awkwardly scratched his head and said, I'm sorry. Layla smirked to herself. Is it that easy, Henry Hindenburg? But I know you've been abused by that demon since you were a child, and I understand the fear and the desire for recognition that stemmed from it. That's why I chose you, she said, again. He immediately said, I'm sorry. Again, I'm sorry. Layla continued to demand, again. He angrily shouted, I already said I'm sorry, damn it. How many more times do I have? You're becoming quite the villainous, Layla Hindaga. Did that fiancé of yours teach you that? Let go of me, I have to go. Go on, make your move, you hear me? Should I scream and call for help? He gritted his teeth in anger, stammering, wah. But then, he managed to calm down, let go of Layla, and said sincerely in a low voice, I'm sorry, Layla. I haven't treated you well all this time. Is that all? Or is it still not enough? It's still a little lacking, but I'll consider it. Even though we're not blood related, we're still siblings after all. Yeah, all right, thank you, Layla whispered in his ear. So speaking of which, Henry, if you have to get involved with someone, Layla said something to him. After her engagement, Layla actively participated in many social gatherings. As the fiancé of Count Chain, she didn't distinguish between people she had to meet and those she didn't, but met with everyone to expand her connections. The cold days finally warmed up, and by the time it eventually grew cold again, an army arrived to announce, Marquis Hindaga is suspected of treason. The entire Hindaga family is under arrest. If you resist, we will take action immediately, so please cooperate. Layla casually and cheerfully said, all right, take as long as you need. Finally, Layla's preparations started to pay off. In the prison cell, the Marquis screamed constantly, Layla, Layla, how dare you deceive me? This wench, I'll tear you into 100 pieces. I don't know anything. I didn't do anything wrong. Please reconsider. Sob. His children were also crying up a storm. It's all because of Layla. She said we should build relationships with everyone. I don't even know who that person is, Layla muttered to herself. They're on their way to hell and they're still making such a fuss. Oh well, what a mess. But anyway, after they drink the water laced with a sleeping potion, they'll all quiet down. Then, Sir Taylor will come and get me out, Layla teased. Aren't you letting a prisoner go a bit too easily? Taylor replied, I've been working so hard all this time just for this. Building trust by establishing a reputation, winning favor with money, and bribing people with tears. The Marquis screamed in a rage. Layla, how could you? I should have killed you all back then. Ha, I left some water. It'll be less painful if you just fall asleep. He cursed. You damn B times titch, she retorted. Oh wait, that line would suit a demon better. Hey, let me ask you something. Why did you kill Sane's family? The reason? Things like that. Layla cut him off. It's alright, I knew this would happen. Come to think of it, I don't think I have any right to take revenge, so you don't have to die for the evil things that you've done. You just have to die. With that, Taylor gripped his sword, his face cold and expressionless. The man fearfully called out to Layla, followed by a scream as 7 sprays of blood splattered. Word quickly spread among the people. Hey, have you heard the news about Marquess Hindaga? The one about him aiding the traitors for nearly a year and a half? He even used his own child to build connections with those traitors. My god, what a scumbag. Even his successful business collapsed instantly, and there was that girl engaged to Kai Dong Jae-sik, but that was called off too. Is the engagement even the issue here? Their entire family is about to be executed for treason. Heh, are you a little behind on the news? What do you mean by that? One day before the trial, Hindaga's daughter disappeared with a knight from their estate, leaving only her father's body behind. The scene shifts to a carriage moving through the snow. Sir Taylor, oh wait, it's Terry now, isn't it? He turned to look at Layla and replied, Is something the matter, my precious jewel of Baron Lula? Lady Nana Lula, honestly, you seem to really like that, don't you? Ah, no Terry, about us running away. So that's it, you're uncomfortable with this? I'm so exhausted. My body's a little tired, but my spirits are great, right? She replied, Not that great, since I've only gotten partial revenge. There was nothing else you could do. You did your best. Maybe there was another way that I just wasn't aware of. So in the end, I still would have had to get engaged to Kai Dong Jae-sik? Oh god, Taylor gritted his teeth. No wonder, I'm telling you it's nauseating. Nauseating? Layla burst out laughing and asked, What's with you? Forget it. Even for a Marquess, what's wrong with capturing and killing him with your own hands? As for Kai Dong Jae-sik, Sion will handle that. That means he'll definitely return alive. There's only about 1 year left, because like you said, we'll hear news of him before the weather gets warmer. Layla called out to Terry in a serious voice. Why the serious tone? Is something wrong? You don't have to be responsible for me. I don't understand what you're saying. If Sion heard that word, responsibility, he'd definitely get the wrong idea. If we ever get into a situation where you feel like you're about to be caught, just run away on your own. Taylor changed the subject. If I'd known, I would have bought you a white cloak. It looks strange with only your shoulders covered in the white of the snow. It would look much better if you were completely pure white. Why are you suddenly saying something so strange? What are you talking about, my lady? If we're about to get caught, you're telling me to run away alone and leave you behind? You said it's better for one person to survive than for both of us to die, right? So why do I get to be that person? I'll fight on my own until I die. So you should have run away then. You're not a knight anymore. Are you a mercenary now? A mercenary. Terry couldn't hear a thing. And besides, the money Lady Nana gave me was even less than the ransom to get me back. So stop making up such weird things. Ha, I already told you before. How many times have I turned back time already? I remember that I won't die, or to be more precise, if I die. I'll just go back to the past again. But Terry's case is different, so Taylor asked, How far back? What? How far back can you go? To when I was 10 years old. So, do you want to go back again? Layla clenched her fists, thinking to herself, That's impossible. If I wake up and become a 10-year-old child again, I'll have to fight for survival all over again. But there's one thing I despise more than anything, and that's becoming Sane's enemy. At this, she said, But I would rather die for the people I cherish. I don't want to go back to the past, Taylor said. I won't die, milady. You won't be going back to the past again. He gave a radiant smile. When Sane returns, you should think about what you need to say. Layla teased, This time, your smile doesn't look like a mercenary's at all. So a mercenary smile? What does that even mean? She waved her hand and said, Let's get going. Taylor wouldn't let it go, he said. Isn't that a good thing? It's up to you to accept it. The lady's intentions are more important. Ha ha ha. And so the two of them talked and laughed cheerfully, then at a small house in the forest. An old house with a cracked door. Taylor asked, Are you very cold, milady? No, I'm fine. Achoo. Taylor immediately walked over and draped his coat over her. But this is yours, Taylor. I'm right next to the fireplace, so I'm not cold at all. Anyway, they keep chasing us, so we can't go to an inn. Those bastards, she said. You shouldn't talk about your colleagues like that, Taylor retorted. They're not colleagues, are they? Layla argued that they were his old colleagues, and even back then they weren't colleagues but enemies. That jerk Nissan. Always hoping I would get demoted. Is there really someone named Nissan? Of course, I think Terry made that up. Why would I make it up? The letter you sent me, so that I could read the first letters. So I thought those letters matched the name, but the content of the letter was true. Both Nissan and Ryan are really knights from the royal palace. So you made friends with a knight named Ryan too? I did, but then I got into a fight with Ryan too. Ryan's also a jerk. That's strange. I didn't think the palace only recruited people who crawl on all fours. Actually, isn't it because you have a rather strange personality that you two didn't get along? Layla immediately dodged the question. Let's just go to sleep. We have to move as soon as it's light out. Then Layla lay down and whimpered to herself. Ugh, so cold. I don't know why I'm more sensitive to the cold than before. Why is that? She was drowsily drifting off to sleep when a hurried voice suddenly called out, Lady Layla! She shot up with a start. What's wrong, Taylor? Oh no, Terry. It looks like we're surrounded. What? Did the royal knights catch up to us? No, not them. The soldiers from outside have swarmed in. Taylor continued. It's Kitten of the Chains, Layla asked. Are there any palace knights with them? That's not possible. Among those knights are the ones who helped me escape, including Raiden and Nissan. The false evidence will throw the investigation into chaos. What do you mean by that? Didn't you just say those people were enemies? They're both enemies and friends. Should I really be making friends with these bastards? Layla said, her head aching. Anyway, at least tell me the royal knights won't be involved, right? That's right. Suddenly, Layla thought, it's a good thing if it's only Kidon of the Chains, we might still be able to negotiate. At the very least, we can still get Sir Taylor out of here. Just then, the door was kicked open and Kaiden's voice rang out. Lady Layla, you never cease to amaze me. I knew you weren't some mindless doll, but I never thought you'd deal me such a painful blow. Taylor stood in a defensive stance. When did you start following us? Ever since this lady disappeared from the palace. While Lady Layla was in prison, you must have been very busy, dealing with your ferocious father, who's no different from a wild beast, and also preparing to get this lady out. But she escaped before she could be released, and thanks to that, I've had quite the headache, Taylor said. Get out of the way. A bit blunt and arrogant, aren't you? Why should I be polite to the man who killed my student? Student? How interesting. For a mentor to be even more pathetic than his student. I'm delighted that you praise his skills so highly. I wasn't complimenting him at all. No, forget it. I'm starting to get bored. So I'll just kill you quickly and take my fiancé with me. Layla reached out to stop them. Wait! Taylor immediately called out. My lady! Lady Layla! Layla stepped forward and asked, what do you want, Count? My death or to take me alive? Death? If I wanted your corpse, I wouldn't have come here myself, Layla asked again. Even though I'm trying to accuse you of treason? Because I am the Count of the Chains family, I can cover something like this up, even after we're married. Every time I think about how hard you've worked, I find it so adorable. But that doesn't mean you can take a woman who committed treason and escaped from prison as your wife. That's absolutely right. The fact that Lady Layla is my wife will be a secret just between us. So in short, you're asking me to be your mistress? If you say no, then I'll back off, and I'll have to tell my soldiers to bring Lady Layla's body back carefully, right? An angry Sir Taylor said, you don't have to listen to him, my lady. I will end this slowly. No, Sir Taylor, I will become the Count's wife. Don't you lay a hand on Sir Taylor. You can't, my lady. I can't let you fall into the hands of a man like him. Kaiden said, I honestly don't want Lady Layla to hate me anymore, but if you insist on interfering, then my hands are tied. Layla said hastily, I'll convince him. Just give me some time. Are you trying to persuade me? I already told you to think about what you want to say to Sane, didn't I? I'll be fine. You heard him. He's not going to kill me. Then you'll tell me when Sane comes back, right? Please come get me then. Saying this, Layla approached Kidon. Let's go, Count. To think I'd still feel this way even after making this choice. Welcome back, Lady Layla. There might be some restrictions, but I'll do my best to make sure you're not uncomfortable. Yes, all right, let's go. She glanced back, silently telling Taylor, it's okay, I'm really fine. Sir Taylor, you just need to survive. That's all that matters. This is much better than returning to the past where Sane hated me. That's right. Anything is better than having Sane look at me like that again. But as they stepped outside, Layla's expression turned to panic, and a startled Kidon asked, what's wrong? He looked at the soldiers lying on the ground and wondered, what is this? All the soldiers of the Chain family are down. It looks like this was done by those masked figures. Who are they? The one in the center looks like a wizard. Just then, the masked man spoke. Oh, there you are. Still alive, thank goodness. Now you don't have to die. Surprised, Layla pointed to herself. Me? He replied, yep, you, and the knight behind you too. Kaidon frowned, asking, who is this bastard? Me? Anyone can tell I'm a wizard, can't they? Let me be more specific. A wizard can incinerate a small hut in the blink of an eye. So grab your pathetic goons and get out of here. And of course, leave the lady and the knight alone. The next thing to explode won't be a hut, it'll be your head, my good sir. He gritted his teeth in anger, then shot a look at Layla, saying, don't think this is over, Lady Layla. I never give up on anything I want. We will retreat for today, tend to the injured and rest at the nearest village. Yes, Count. Taylor whispered to Layla, the fire is out, but we'll have to see whether this is actually a good thing or not, Layla asked. Just to be sure, there weren't any mages among those scoundrels, were there? Yes, unfortunately not. The man suddenly approached and introduced himself. A pleasure to meet you, Lady Layla. I am Danley. Show your face and reveal your identity. I almost forgot the most important thing. Count Kaido and his wife are waiting for you both, so we should leave immediately. Later, at Count Kaido's residence, cakes and drinks were prepared on the table. Cecile said, I prepared this thinking cocoa would be better than tea. It should help with any toxins that have built up after all this time. If you don't like it, I can have something else made. Layla replied, no, this is lovely, thank you. I'm sure you have a lot you want to ask, but to put it simply, Sion asked me to do it. Layla asked, surprised, what? Sion? The first time I went to the Marquis's estate, San gave me this letter. It said, when I'm not around, if anything happens to her, please help her. I'm counting on you, and no matter what happens, don't worry about me. I promise I'll come back safe and sound. Your family, I promise. Layla thought to herself, this is definitely Sane's handwriting. This really is a letter written by Sane. Cecile spoke again. I'm so glad I found the Marquis's daughter. I almost failed to honor a request for help from his family. But that was quite a difficult request, wasn't it? It's not much different from helping a traitor. Since he asked such a difficult favor of me, I want to ask you a few things. Layla replied, yes, please go ahead. Sane said in the letter that he would return no matter what happened. Do you know what that means? Hearing that, Layla hesitated. Ah, should I reveal something Sane didn't? Of course, I already told Sir Taylor, but that's because he's trustworthy. But the Countess is the one Sane called his only family. After a moment of thought, she replied, Sane is still alive, so he will come back, as a hero. A hero? I don't know everything, but let me tell you what I do know. I told the Countess what I know, that Sane was born to be a hero, which is why he wrote in the letter that he would return. And in my past life, Sane always defeated the evil spirits and returned safely. So, let's just trust and wait for him, Cecile asked. I have to say this because there's a part I don't understand. May I ask you one question? You knew that Sane would return, right? But why did you decide to become a traitor? Layla answered, yes. When Sane returns, he will take care of this. I get so angry, my stomach is always churning and my head gets all hot. I've had dreams where Sane died, even though I've never actually seen it happen. Even though I know I can wait, I can't stand doing nothing. She looked at the letter and continued, actually, it's still the same even now. I'm crazy, right? Cecile pressed her lips together as if to say something, but stopped. Cecile stood up and said, I'll be going first. Please take your time with your drink and come out later. I will give you that letter as a gift, if you'd like. Thank you. When you are finished, the butler will escort you to your bedroom. Reaching the door, Cecile looked back and said, sleep well, Lady Layla. Layla was a bit surprised to hear that. Afterwards, she sat pensively in the silent room as her tears fell, pattering down onto the letter in her hands. I stayed at the Count's estate for about 1 year, and I gradually grew closer with Cecile. She was the one who reached out first, so I went along with it and started calling her sister. After more than 1 year, the first letter from Sane arrived with a short message, how is Layla? I felt a little embarrassed because it was a very, very short letter that was only about me. Cecile teased. So all that good care was for nothing, huh? Layla explained shyly. He's probably just a little busy. Ahem. 1 year later, while I was on a walk, the sky suddenly turned red. Immediately after, a black rift appeared in the middle of the sky, splitting the sky in two. It was there for just a moment before vanishing, as if it had never existed. Finally, I could say the words I had been holding back for so long. Scene change. The Imperial Palace. Your Majesty, the hero has arrived and is now passing through the castle entrance. The Emperor asked, are all preparations complete? Everything is ready. Welcome him with the very best. I don't know why he chose our country out of so many others, but there must be some connection, or perhaps he wants something from us. We must do everything in our power to make the hero stay. As long as he remains here, no one will dare to look covetously at our nation again. One person asked if we would appear too weak by making such concessions. The Emperor asked, and so what if we do? Pride is something people merely show off to others. Do you truly think a hero who can defeat an evil spirit all by himself is a mere mortal? He is a demigod at the very least. It would be foolish for a mortal to oppose a divine being. All we can do is beg him to stay. Just then, an announcer's voice rang out, Your Majesty, the hero requests an audience. Oh, let him in. As his footsteps approached, everyone immediately began to murmur in awe, as expected of the hero. Even his appearance is worthy of the Lord's choice. They do say that even the Lord favors beauty. The Emperor slammed his hand on his throne and commanded, Silence, all of you. Then he looked at the hero with a welcoming smile and said, Welcome, great hero Cajun. It is an honor that ours is the first nation you have chosen to visit. Sane bowed and replied, I am most grateful for your hospitality, Your Majesty. The Emperor asked, I was wondering, have you decided where you will settle? Of course, regardless of your choice, our respect for you will remain unchanged. Should you decide to stay in our country, I will grant you anything you desire. I have not yet decided, but I will keep your generous offer in mind. The Emperor said, Hero, if you have any request for me or for our nation, please do not hesitate to tell me. Sane then proposed, I would like a title or a status so that I may settle in this country. But of course, I shall bestow upon my hero the title of Duke. Sane continued, and in addition, hearing this, everyone was surprised. Huh? In addition? Furthermore, Sane continued, please hand 2 criminals over to me. Later, at the estate of Count Kaido, Sane galloped on horseback into the mansion grounds. All right then. Just as Sane dismounted, a voice called out, Welcome, Duke Cajun Axit. He smiled and said, Just call me what you always have, Cecile. Cecile narrowed her eyes at him for a moment, then ran up to him, calling out to Sane, and suddenly started thumping his chest. You idiot! How could you write to me every single day just to ask about Layla? Weren't you curious about me at all? He answered nonchalantly. Layla already told me how you were. Oh, I guess that's fair. Ugh, my wrist suddenly hurts so bad. Let's go inside first, Sane quickly asked. What about Layla? Cecile stuck her tongue out and replied, I don't know. He immediately gave her a suspicious look. You, Cecile spun around and snapped. I didn't call for her on purpose. On a day like this, you have to keep it a secret and then surprise her. I'm doing all of this for you, you know? Oh geez, I get it. Layla's in the back garden. The moment she finished speaking, Sane bolted. Thanks, Cecile. She let out a frustrated sigh. So raising a younger brother is useless after all, huh? Suddenly Count Kaido came over and asked, Did the hero stand you up? Ah, has Count Sane already come to greet you? He has, but there is something more important. Oh, what is it? Even though I have a lot of work to do, I missed you terribly. Could you spare me a little of your time? Cecile smiled and replied, oh my, of course, what shall we do? How about chess? Let's play a game for a wager. All right. Meanwhile, in the back garden, Layla was dozing off on a swing. Huh, when did I fall asleep? I was just reading, I must have dozed off for a while. Suddenly, she saw Sane sitting next to her and exclaimed in surprise, oh, is this a dream? Sane looked at the girl before him, lost in thought. After I woke up, the first thing I wondered was what I should say when I saw Layla again. Should I apologize for leaving her all alone? And in the care of someone she hates? Along with Sane's train of thought came Layla's whispering voice. Sane, it's been so long, hasn't it? I haven't been dreaming much lately. You're so handsome and warm, too. This feels so real. She suddenly jolted as she touched his face. That's strange, it shouldn't feel this real. Sane took her hand and continued his thoughts. Should I thank her for her patience? Not giving up while waiting for me? But all those worries were for nothing. The words that I uttered were ones I didn't even realize I was saying. The moment I felt the warmth of her body, it was truly a foolish thing to say. And maybe I knew that all along. If I say this, I think she will respond like that. Just as I thought that. Sane spoke. Have you been well? Welcome back, I've been waiting for you. As you know, to settle down in this country, I was granted a title and a nearby territory. If you ever miss Cecile, it's only a 2-day trip from there. So come to my estate, Layla. Suddenly, the two of them noticed some rustling in the bushes behind them. Sane turned and said, and you too, Taylor. With sparkling eyes, Taylor asked, will you accept me as your knight? Your Grace, the Duke? You don't have to call me that. In that case, Sane. Sane said helplessly, do whatever you want. Taylor lunged in for a hug, but was suddenly stopped by Sane. No hugging, Taylor asked indignantly. Why not? Sane replied calmly, it's too hot. Then take off your clothes. Come out of there properly, you're shaking all the leaves off the branches. A moment later, Sane sighed helplessly. Fine, we'll let Taylor decide then. Layla, what about you? Do whatever you want, I don't mind even if I have to stay here. No, of course I'll go. When are we leaving? As soon as you're ready. Well, then I have to go say goodbye to Cecile. And thank the Count as well. The maids I'm close to will probably want to throw me a farewell party. And I need to pack some luggage. Sane thought to himself that it would take 10 days while Taylor cheekily guessed at least 4 days. Ha, you're both wrong, Layla said. 2 days, can we leave the day after tomorrow? That gives me time to rest too. Noticing that he was staring, she asked, what is it, is that too late? I mean, I do have to take some time to pack. Not at all, Layla, that's perfectly fine with me. Phew, what a relief. Taylor slung an arm over Sane's shoulder. But Sane, this master of yours is still quite curious. What's this about an evil spirit? What are you talking about? I'm curious to know what it looked like and how strong it was. Sane said it was a bit strange, and also weak. Strange and weak? In Taylor's imagination, it was supposed to be all, I will kill all of humanity. You said you fought the evil spirit for 2 weeks, right? Who said that? I heard a rumor. Sane said, it's true, I fought for 2 weeks, watching and fighting at the same time. So you mean it was a boring fight? Yes, that's right. Taylor wiped away a tear of pity, glad that it wasn't a big deal. I thought you must have suffered so much that you were on the brink of death, and after experiencing death so many times, you probably wouldn't even be sane anymore. I'm glad you didn't go through that, Sane. Huh? Why are you two suddenly like this, Sane? Taking Layla's hand and standing up, let's go talk somewhere else first. Let's go, Layla. Taylor immediately chased after them. Where are you going? The drawing room? Can I come too? We're all going together, right? Then Sane said, if I told you to wait a bit, would you? Of course not, my lady. I'm sorry for being a bother, Layla said. As long as it's Sir Taylor, it's fine. Elsewhere, the gardener discovered a bald patch in the bushes where Taylor had stripped the leaves and was very confused. The Duchy of Axet that Sane mentioned is in the eastern part of the kingdom. The Axet Ducal Estate, as I said, is a place neighboring the Kiter Estate where Cecile lives. When we entered the castle behind Sane, the servants were waiting to welcome their new master. Seeing Sane accept their greetings, I realized once again that Sane had become a hero. For some reason, I felt very strange, a sense of unease as if something was missing. Amidst the joy of Sane's return, why am I like this? Is it because I've been on the run for too long? No, if that were the case, things would have been different before I came here. Something strange has been happening since I arrived at the ducal estate, especially after seeing those servants. Oh, the servants? I guess it's because of Wynnum and Mary. Because I haven't been able to contact them for a long time, Cecile would only occasionally give me news about Sane and Sir Taylor. But I guess I still feel a bit empty without those two. I have to write them a letter tomorrow. Even if they can't come here, we can still meet. The next morning, Layla gave the butler a letter. To Hindaga? No, to the Beampton Marquisate. Yes, I understand. Layla thought to herself, it's a good thing Marquis Beampton is their new master. Since he's known for being a good person, Mary and Wynnum will probably get along well with them, right? Suddenly the butler asked, Lady Layla, I know this might be an unnecessary worry, but what about rewriting the envelope? If you use your family name, Hindaga, the postman might discard the letter. If it's a bit of a bother, would you like me to change the envelope and send it for you? Yes, you're right. Then I'll leave it to you, Carrick. I understand, Lady Layla. If you need anything, please just call for me. Yeah, now that I think about it, I can't use the Hindaga name anymore. Most people think of a traitorous family when they see the name Hindaga. I had forgotten. I'm the only one who was saved by Sane. And now I'm not a marquis's daughter nor a rebel, just an ordinary 20-year-old girl. Layla, Sir Taylor is a knight in the mansion, and Sane is the master of this place. So she asks herself what she is? Now I get it. The moment we walked into the castle and everyone bowed to Sane, I realized that feeling. That subconsciously, my place in this mansion is that of a useless person. I'm no longer the Marquis's daughter who could give Sane anything. Instead, I have to depend on Sane for everything, from what I eat to what I wear. What right do I have? I can't keep being indebted to Sane. At the very least, I shouldn't become a burden to him. I have to do something. With that thought, Layla went to the storage room, and when the woman turned around, Layla said, Maddie, do you have a moment? Of course, my lady. Please tell me whatever you need. I have a favor to ask you. Could you teach me how to work? What? Why would you want to do this kind of work? I'm not a lady anymore. Ah, no, she thought to herself. I need to be more careful with my words from now on. Please lower your voice, my lady. No, I am no longer a noble lady. You can just call me Layla. Miss Layla, the work of a servant. Layla cut her off. Drop the miss too. That wouldn't be proper. Furthermore, I cannot grant your request to learn the work of a servant. Why not? I sincerely want to become a servant. I'm not a noble anymore, am I? Because Miss Layla is a guest staying at the Duke's mansion. I cannot possibly assign work to our guest. I'm truly sorry, Miss Layla. No, it's all right. Thank you for your time. Excuse me. Layla left, deep in thought. A guest at the Duke's mansion? Does that mean I'll have to leave one day? This is even more painful than finding out something I didn't know. She was just stating the obvious. It's okay. There's still hope. I've only been rejected once. Someone somewhere will teach me how to work. After that, she went to the kitchen. You wish to learn how to cook? Of course I can teach you. But wouldn't you prefer embroidery or playing an instrument over cooking? Layla answered firmly. I'm not learning it as a hobby. I want to work in the kitchen. What? Goodness, please calm down, my lady, Layla said. Just Layla. Yes, Miss Layla. I can't have you working in the kitchen, and I believe everyone else here thinks the same. But you just said, I think it's a very noble thought. Thank you for saying such things. But I still cannot teach you how to do kitchen work. I am very sorry, Miss Layla. Well then, I must go prepare for dinner now. Layla thought with disappointment. The kitchen rejected me too. After that, at the stables. You want to tend to the horses? Heavens, absolutely not. She sighed to herself. The stables too. You say you want to be the librarian? Someone like you, Miss Layla, should just be reading the books. I'm sorry. Maddie was right. And every single place rejected her. We're truly sorry. I had no idea every place I went to would reject me like this. Is there anywhere left for me? Just then, Taylor waved and called out, Lady Layla, where are you going? She answered indifferently. Just walking around. You're not lost, are you? Not at all. What did you do today? Today I trained and then trained some more. Layla asked. Did you enjoy it? Pardon? I mean, were you happy to be training? Yes, I enjoyed it very much. More importantly, my lady, do you have any idea how strong Sane is? I just saw a few soldiers sparring with Sane, but honestly, they were no match for him at all. You would have been surprised if you'd seen it, my lady, wouldn't you? She replied. I would hope so. Then she thought to herself, both Sane and Sir Taylor are so important, while I'm just weak and useless. How pathetic. Suddenly, Taylor stepped in front of her and called out, Lady Layla. Then he touched her forehead and asked, Are you not feeling well? Then he touched his own forehead and said, You don't have a fever. Are you sleepy then? No, I'm fine. For now, I guess I'm just a little hungry. What? Hungry? I should go get something to eat then. You should get some rest too, Sir Taylor. Ah, I understand. Taylor wondered to himself, Is something wrong with her? That's not how a hungry person acts, is it? Layla walked to a secluded spot and thought to herself, Sir Taylor is only ever sharp at times like this. I really don't want to make him worry about this, but why am I having such a hard time breathing? I wasn't even running, just walking a little faster than usual. It seems like my physical condition has gotten worse. Suddenly, a gardener's voice called out, Are you all right, Miss Layla? I'm the gardener, if you need any help. Layla immediately replied, I do. She said with a pleading tone, I want to learn how to garden, not just as a hobby, but enough to become a professional gardener. Was that too sudden? I don't think that's what people normally say when they ask for help. I was so anxious I didn't even realize it. Am I going to get rejected again? To her surprise, the gardener replied, I understand. When can you start? Layla exclaimed excitedly. Really? Are you serious? Tomorrow? Let's start tomorrow, the gardener replied cheerfully. Sounds good. I'll teach you how to landscape the garden tomorrow. Okay, sounds good, thank you. That night, at the Chain Marquis' estate, a knock echoed on the door, and the Marquis said, Come in. As Kaidan entered, he asked, How was your trip to Guangcha, father? The Marquis replied, You look so calm, as if you have no idea what you've done. At dawn, soldiers from the palace will arrive to arrest you. What are you talking about, father? What crime did I commit? 5 years ago, you were the one who killed that hero. Weren't you? Kaidan's face paled as he thought in shock. That guy was really the hero? The rumors said they looked incredibly similar. Could it be? Seeing the expression on Kaidan's face, the Marquis drew his sword and said, Ah, so it was you after all. You absolute fool, killing the hero, he cried out, startled. Father, have you gone mad? All because of that slave. As soon as he spoke, a spray of blood hit Kaidan's face, his eyes widening in shock as he watched his father wound himself. The Marquis said, I'm not letting you go. You stabbed me and then escaped. Run, Kaidan. Chain. Ah, no, Kaidan. The scene shifts back to the Duke's mansion one morning. Saint Leo mounted his horse and told her, "Wait for me for a little while, I won't be long." Layla smiled and replied, "What's gonna happen to me while I'm here? You're the one who should be careful on your way." His face flushed bright red as he quickly turned away. "I'm heading out now," Layla thought to herself. Why did his face suddenly turn so red? Is he hot? Sane, travel safely, Your Grace. Travel safely. Taylor waved nonstop, saying, "Why isn't he even acknowledging my farewell? Just say you'll be back soon," he said, twisting a handkerchief. "So mean." Layla asked, "What's that handkerchief? You didn't carry something like that before, did you?" "Oh, I got it at training yesterday. A maid named Benny gave it to me," Layla teased. "Oh, it must be nice to be so popular. It's not like that. She embroidered it wrong. So you were going to throw it away before giving it to me. Let me see. The stitching is this perfect. That might be the case for you, miss. But it isn't for that maid, Benny. Are you looking down on me? Not at all. It's the truth. Anyway, you can't be so clueless about a girl's feelings, you know." Taylor then said, "Anyone who saw you might think you understand a man's heart completely. I can tell just by looking in your eyes. Isn't that obvious? Ho ho. Is that so? But then why haven't you made any progress in 15 years? What in the world are you talking about? Oh, it's nothing. I just wonder who the one with the problem really is." "There's no problem." Suddenly, a voice called out, "Miss Layla, you're here? Teacher, can we start the lesson right now? I forgot I have something urgent this afternoon." "Of course we can. Let's go, teacher," Taylor asked in confusion. "Miss, what kind of lesson is this?" "And the teacher is involved too," Layla replied. "It is what it is. I'll tell you when the time is right." "Well then, I'll be going now, Sir Taylor." "Ah, yes, I understand." Taylor stood there pondering. Things have been a little strange lately. In a cave deep within the forest, a snake appeared, slithering on the ground, when it was suddenly stabbed by a dagger. Kaiden just picked it up and took a bite, a truly disgusting sight. Damn it, I am the one and only heir to the Chain Clan, so what the hell is this crap I'm being forced to endure? He recalled his father's words, "The king will hunt you to the ends of the earth." He said that if you remain alive, the entire kingdom will surely be destroyed. Kidon angrily threw the snake away. "Who says I'm going to die?" "The soldiers move in groups of about 30, and they've already lost over 20 men just to get this far. I can cross the border within the next 4 days, as long as no more soldiers show up. Once I'm across the border, this chase will finally be over. Then, when things have quieted down a bit, I can create a new identity and build my strength. And after that, I will definitely return and end that bastard's life with my own 2 hands." Just as he had that thought, the sound of a snapping twig echoed. Kaiden warily grabbed his sword and called out, "Who's there?" he thought to himself. If it's just one person, then it's not a soldier. In that case, perfect. "Of course it's you, you despicable slave bastard." Sane then asked, "Did you keep your promise that she wouldn't get hurt?" "What? I was wondering what you were even talking about. Did you really believe I'd keep a promise to the likes of you? The only reason she's safe is because she is my fiancé, Kidon's fiancé. It's because she's going to be my wife, not because of a promise to something like you." "What? Fine by me. In any case, Layla is safe." He thought to himself, "I've let this go on long enough, being threatened by a low-life slave." He drew his sword and pointed it at Sane. "I don't know what stroke of luck brought you back to life, but that doesn't even matter. No matter how many times you come back, all I need to do is shove this sword through your heart." Sane said calmly, "Go ahead, you psycho. Just because you came back once, you think death is that trivial? If you want to die so pathetically, then be my guest." But his eyes immediately widened in shock. "What's with the sword?" Its tip was against Sane's chest, but it had no effect. "You fool! If you were king, this kingdom would have already collapsed." Sane reached out and grabbed Kidon by the neck. "I'm still just a man. See that little stream behind you? It looks pretty deep." He choked out. Let go of me," Sane continued. "If you want to live, then try living like a decent human being, or live in regret, otherwise just die. It doesn't really matter. Goodbye." With that said, Sane pushed him into the freezing water. "Now, it's finally over. I'll be back soon. I miss you, Layla. But why does it seem like you're avoiding me?" Sane ran as fast as he could, just hoping to hear from Layla, asking if he was back yet. But Layla didn't even show her face all day, let alone come to see him. To be more precise, she was in her room and hadn't stepped out once. Taylor asked, "So how long are you going to stay like this, Lady Layla?" She answered, "Until it's completely healed, maybe about a month. It won't take a full month. The doctor said it will take about 3 weeks." Taylor said, tugging at her, "Get up and go outside. Staying in bed all day won't help you heal. The doctor said I need to rest, so give me back my blanket. Stop with the lies." "Really, milady, do you think I wouldn't know? You're doing this because you don't want Sane to find out that you got hurt, right? How did you know?" "Ha! I should have stopped you then and asked what was going on. I never thought it would turn out this way. Everything will be fine in 3 weeks. It's not a big deal. So you're planning to stay cooped up in bed for 3 whole weeks? It's not like that. I guess there's no way to get you out of that bed, huh? I'll take care of it, so please keep this a secret from me. And don't come here for a while, until I call for you." Yes, I understand. "Ah, milady." Taylor turned back to ask, "Can I bet my entire month's salary that you'll be discovered within 3 days?" She immediately threw a pillow at him. "I should get out of here." Looking at her bandaged arm, she sighed, Ah, what am I supposed to do? It's not like I fell from a really high ladder. I got down, but I have to keep it like this for 3 whole weeks. On top of that, Chi was punished just because of me. But this is no different from me just being stubborn. That's why everyone feels so pressured. If something were to happen, I wouldn't be the only one who gets hurt in the end. If it were me, I would have avoided it too, because it would be really annoying and troublesome if something happened. Now I really can't do anything at all. It's so depressing to think I'm having such weak thoughts. Snap out of it. It's better to be a little tired than to let Sane find out. With that thought, she called out, "Hey Carrick, can you keep my injury a secret from Sane?" He replied, "If that is what you wish, then I will not report this to him, Miss Layla. But is there a particular reason?" "Well, it's because if Sane finds out, he'll probably worry a lot. If it's about worrying, Sir Taylor worries about you too. I suppose there must be a difference here?" So that's how it is. Layla thought helplessly. In the end, he brought it up with a completely clueless look on his face. But thinking about it, I'm not so sure anymore. What's the difference between Sir Taylor and Sane? Sir Taylor or Sane? Maybe the way they care is different? I mean, Sir Taylor treats me like a little sister now, just like how he tried to snatch the blanket from me earlier. Compared to that, Sane. How does Sane treat me? Considering how he is with his sister Cecile, he definitely doesn't treat me like a sibling at all. And isn't he much more gentle with me? Why is that? If he cherishes his family, why doesn't he treat me like one? Right now, I have to focus on not getting caught with this injury. If I just keep wandering around aimlessly like this, I probably wouldn't even notice if Sane was right next to me. Just as she had that thought, a voice called out, "Layla." She turned to see Sane standing there. She quickly turned her body to hide her injured arm. "You must be tired. What are you still doing up at this hour? I'm sorry I couldn't come out to greet you today. Something urgent came up unexpectedly." But Sane suddenly said, "Let me see your hand." Layla tried to change the subject. "Wow, I'm suddenly so sleepy. I'll head inside first. Sorry, Sane. I'm begging you, Layla." She turned back and said, "It's nothing, really. The doctor said I'll get better soon." "How did you get hurt like this?" She hesitated. "It's just, well, you don't want to tell me?" She had no choice but to say, "While I was trimming the ornamental trees." "You trim them yourself? Do you enjoy pruning trees?" "It's not that, but I thought I could do it." The gardener also said that it wasn't a bad thing. "What are you talking about, Layla? Are you that bored? Is it because I've been away for too long?" "No, it's not like that. I have to do something, right? I can't just stay here as a guest forever." "A guest? Who told you that?" "Layla, you don't have to do anything out of obligation here. Of course, if it's what you want." But Layla cut him off, her eyes welling up with tears. "Then wouldn't that make me completely useless? What am I now? I'm not the current lady of the Marquisate anymore. I'm nothing. How much longer can a nobody like me stay here? I want to stay here for a long, long time. If I could, forever by your side, Sane." With that, she wiped away her tears, then turned and ran. I'll go inside first." Sane stood there stunned, calling for Layla, while she ran off, thinking to herself, "It can't be. Sane has saved me so many times, but he's so handsome that he could make anyone's heart flutter. This can't happen between me and Sane." At Count Kaido's estate, Cecile asked, "What brings you here? Did you have a nightmare last night and come running to your big sister?" Sane spoke up, "Layla, I want to give her a title. Is there any way?" Cecile said angrily, "You didn't even bother to answer my question, and you're asking me one instead? If you want an answer, ask something that makes sense. Granting a title is easy. If you go to the king and ask him, you'll probably get it. Or you could buy one from some fallen nobles that would work too. What level of a title are we talking? More importantly, why do you suddenly want to give her a title? Is it such a bother that Layla is no longer a noble?" "It's not that. The thing is, yesterday, Layla." After hearing the whole story, Cecile said thoughtfully, So Layla said that? So you thought of giving Layla a title and making her your vassal? If that's what Layla wants, it's not a bad idea, but I just thought of a better way." Sane immediately asked, "What way?" "Marriage." Sane instantly imagined her in a wedding dress, standing next to another man, and his expression immediately darkened. Cecile quickly explained, "I'm just giving you a classic example, like becoming a countess through marriage." "You mean you want me to find a fiancé for Layla?" Cecile cried out internally. "Oh, it's such a shame I'm the only one who gets to see this. If a demon's soul were to appear here now, I bet he could defeat it in a single blow. Sane has no idea what he looks like right now, does he?" "With that thought," Cecile said, "there's no need, because I already have someone I want to introduce to her." Sane asked urgently, "What, you already have someone? Who is it? I mean, of course, if it's someone you're recommending, then they must be a very good person. But still, can you let me meet this person first?" "Of course you can. I can introduce you to him right now. He's right here." "What? That's right, he's right here." Sane looked around frantically. "Here? Where on earth could he be?" Just then, Cecile laid it all out. "The fiancé I want to introduce to Layla is you, Sane." He asked, stunned. "Me? With Layla? Isn't that a great idea? Isn't the Duchess of Axit a higher position than a vassal of the Duke of Axit?" Sane quickly said, "No, I can't. It's impossible." "Why can't you? Don't you like her? Or is it that you don't want to marry Layla?" "That's not the issue. I'm not worthy. Layla and I." "Sane, you're being cruel. I understand how you feel better than anyone, but Layla has suffered enough. Is she still Layla Hindagard now?" "The Hindagard name has vanished from the kingdom. Layla, with her own hands, destroyed her own family and her own life along with it. But are you saying Layla isn't worthy of you? You're right. I've also said horrible things to Layla. But Sane quickly cut her off. Wait, Cecile, what do you mean by that? You still haven't realized it? You're suddenly getting all hostile and butting in because you think Layla is perfectly qualified to be the Duchess of Acet. I'm the one who isn't qualified. A surprised Cecile asked. What? Cecile, you probably don't know, but I did something wrong to Layla. All I can do is protect Layla. The things you said back at the Marquise's estate then, you weren't saying that just because Layla is the Marquise's daughter, were you? What exactly did you do wrong? Can you tell me? Sane answered bluntly. No. Then does Layla know that you did something wrong? You already know the answer. Cecile thought to herself, what? It's absurd that the victim herself knows nothing. But even so, it's clear Layla also, she has feelings for Sane. Is this one of those cases where the two of them keep denying it, while everyone else is betting on when they'll finally start dating? And to think it involves my own sister. With that thought, Cecile suddenly clapped her hands and said, this won't do, Sane. You're staying the night here. Why? I'll go back with you, and I can tour the ducal estate while I'm at it. We can't leave with things as they are, so how about tomorrow morning? Then let's just do it next time. Cecile pointed at him angrily. If you thought I'd be a bother, you should have invited me sooner. Are you trying to make your only relative sad? Your letters are so half-hearted too. It's because I've been so busy. I know, all right. Then let's go together tomorrow morning, Cecile thought. You'll thank me for this later, you dense little brother. Then, Count Kaido laughed and said, haha, of course that's fine. It is an invitation from my wife's sworn brother after all, and the hero who saved the world at that. Is there any reason for me to object? Of course, the nights without you will be very lonely. I'll be back soon, so please try to wait for me. The Count turned to Sane. By the way, you must be tired, right? I've kept you for too long. Should I have someone prepare a simple dessert? Cecile chimed in. It's okay if you want to excuse yourself first. Please feel free. Then I'll be on my way. I'd like to take a short walk and then turn in. You can use the same bedroom as last time. Sleep well. Sane mused as he walked. I'm glad Cecile is doing well. I don't really get it, but I guess that's what a married couple is like. It's really... He stopped in his tracks. A married couple? Like Cecile said, if I marry Layla would have to spend the rest of her life smiling in front of others, bound to a man who has died and come back to life countless times, time and time again. I knew it. That can't happen. I can't be that greedy. Cecile only says that because she doesn't know anything. Besides, someone's been watching me this whole time. He glanced toward the bushes behind him and called out, Who's there? Do you have business with me? Danley emerged, answering shyly, My apologies. I came to see His Grace, the Duke. But you seem to be deep in thought, so I waited for a moment. Allow me to introduce myself first. I am Danley, a mage in service to the Count's family. At that, Sane was inwardly surprised. A wizard? He recalled Layla, saying that at the time, Cecile had sent a wizard and boom, a giant fireball appeared here. Sane asked, You're the wizard who saved Layla, right? I assume Lady Layla has mentioned me then. To be remembered by her is truly an honor. Forgive me for thanking you so late. It's thanks to you that Layla's life was saved. Haha, not at all. I was just following the Countess's orders. Actually, what I wanted to talk about is also related to Miss Layla. I've been worried since she went through such a big ordeal. I was wondering if she's all right. She had some pain in her wrist recently, but she's all better now. But may I ask you something? Danley replied, Of course, Duke Sane. I heard that while Layla was here, there was nothing to be concerned about, yet you came to find me in the middle of the night to ask about her condition. Could it be that you're interested in her? Hearing this, he jumped and exclaimed, Whoa, it's not like that at all. I'm not interested in her. I'm just genuinely concerned for her as a fellow human being. Please don't misunderstand, Your Grace, he said doubtfully. Is that so? Danley quickly backed away. Phew, I've taken up too much of the Duke's time. I swear on my family's honor that I do not have even the slightest romantic feeling for Lady Layla. I shall take my leave now. All right, Sane thought to himself. He's a wizard with a very strange aura. An oath blurted out on his family's honor? He definitely has a very different feel, compared to the wizard from back then, but he'd better remember that. The wizard, Danley. The next day, at Sane's estate. You're here, Layla. Cecile, it's been a while. Is this the first time we've seen each other in 2 weeks? So? Yes, about that. Let's take a walk. We can talk privately. Yes, of course. I'll get straight to the point. Do you want to spend the rest of your life with Sane? Layla asked, startled. Why are you suddenly asking me that? Seeing her like this, Cecile thought to herself, she has a completely different kind of charm than Sane. I remember what you said before, don't I? You said you were crazy, right? So, are you still? This. Layla looked at Cecile and stammered. Yes, I think I've still been like that lately. Good. Then speaking of which, do you want to do something really crazy? Do something crazy? Cecile patted her head and said in a gentle tone, Layla, you have to help Sane. It's unknown what Cecile said, but Layla hurriedly pushed open the door, burst into the room, and called out, Sane! He and Carrick turned to Layla in surprise. She answered in confusion, I'm sorry, I'll come back later. It's all right, Miss Layla. I was just about to leave after finishing my report. Isn't that right, Your Grace? That's right, then I'll be on my way, Sane said. All right, Layla smiled and said, Thank you, Mr. Carrick. She walked over and sat next to Sane. He asked, "Should I have someone bring tea?" "No need. I'm fine. I just had some with Cecile. But what is it? Why do you look so rushed? Don't you have something you want to tell me? You said you had to get married, didn't you?" "What?" "I heard it from Cecile. You've suddenly become a duke. The entire aristocracy in the capital is unhappy about it. You're the hero who saved the world, and now they're being so." "That's right. So to appease that dissatisfaction, the king wants to marry his sister off to you." Sane asked, bewildered. "So you're saying that because the nobles here are unhappy that I was granted a title, the king is forcing me to marry his sister? Is that really what Cecile told you?" Layla confirmed with a nod. "Uh-huh, so marry me, Sane." Hearing this, Sane's jaw dropped in shock. She continued, "Look, if you marry me, then even if it's the king, wouldn't he have to give up on that idea? Because you can't force someone who's already married to do it again." That's what Cecile said. "If that happens, you'll have to live under the king's surveillance for the rest of your life." "That's really not fair at all," Sane asked helplessly. "Where is Cecile now?" "She already went back. Since it was urgent, she just stopped by for a moment to tell me in person." Sane exclaimed in shock again. "What?" He lowered his head and muttered, "Oh God," Layla explained. Of course I don't mean we should live together like a real married couple. It would be more like a fake marriage or just a contract marriage. We'll just pretend to be a couple until the king gives up on his plan. If you find someone you really want to marry, then at that point." Suddenly, Sane grabbed her hand and cut her off. "Does it still hurt a lot?" Maybe a little, but I'm much better now. It's not like it was a bone injury or anything." "You're hurt like this, and you still want to do something?" "Yeah, I want to do something. I have to." Sane gazed tenderly at her injured hand. Then he suddenly said, "All right, let's get married." Not long after the announcement of Duke Axet's wedding was made public, esteemed guests arrived at the ducal residence, Mary along with Mason, Wynnum, and Elvin. "I'm so glad to see you're well, my lady. I figured things would be all right since Sir Taylor was with you, but I was worried it would be very difficult to see you again." "I was so surprised to receive your letter," Layla said, flustered. "I'm sorry. Due to personal reasons, I couldn't contact any of you." Wynnum and Elvin took turns saying guiltily, "We are truly sorry. We were unable to help you during your most difficult time. Truly, I don't know how I can face you." Lady Mary also said, "Please extend my apologies to Sir Taylor as well, for making him carry such a heavy burden. Now, I have something I'd like to ask. Are you all aware that Sir Taylor has become a knight for Duke Axet?" "Yes, you mentioned it in your letter. If you all don't mind, how about moving here, just like Sir Taylor? Would that be all right?" They all exclaimed in surprise. "What? Of course, I'm not forcing you. It's only if you're willing. I believe I can provide a salary and the best possible working conditions." Wynnum immediately replied, "I wholeheartedly agree." So quick to decide? It is an honor to serve you again, my lady. But isn't this also a chance to be near the hero who saved the world? Even if you fibbed a little and said I wouldn't get paid, I would still do it." Mary asked, "Since I'm moving anyway, if I could become your personal maid?" "Of course, but what about Elvin?" Would that be too much for me to ask?" "What are you talking about? I know the ducal estate already has a doctor. I can't have someone fired because of me." Don't worry about that. The current doctor already told me he wishes to retire. I believe he wants to return to his hometown and open a private clinic. Is that really true? So Elvin will be moving here too, right?" "Yes. I'll have everything settled before the wedding ceremony." "I'm so happy we're all gathered here, my lady. But is it still okay for me to call you my lady? Aren't you about to become the Duchess of Axet? Shouldn't I be calling you the future Duchess?" Layla blushed and said it was still a long way off. Wynnum Mason asked, "By the way, the Duke of Axet, I heard he has blonde hair and black eyes." "Don't tell me." Mary continued Mason's thought. "It couldn't be," Layla confirmed. "That's right, the Duke of Axet is Sane." "Really? Just as I suspected, someone must have kidnapped Sane. I never thought Sane could die that easily, because I know Sane's body better than anyone." Please don't misunderstand or worry, regardless of the past. I promise to serve His Grace the Duke with all my heart. Wynnum is being sincere. He's been praising the Duke this entire trip, saying it's thanks to His Grace that we're all living so well. Mary, Wynnum, Elvin, and Mason, welcome everyone. I'll be in your care from now on. After that, Mary began to work as Layla's maid. "Time flies so fast, your wedding is already tomorrow. Who would have ever thought you two would end up getting married like this? But I get the feeling you both like each other." Hearing that, Layla spat out the tea she was drinking. "The wedding is tomorrow, and you're still getting shy? Would you like some more tea? This is a special tea that helps reduce bloating." "It's okay, I don't need any." "Ha ha ha, I understand, my lady. Our Layla is still as beautiful and kind as ever. I'm not a child anymore. What is this? Because you've been through so much since you were little, so from now on, please just be happy, because you've found the one you love." Layla froze, wondering to herself, love? Well then, my lady, have a good night. Layla continued to ponder. Am I in love with Sane? Why would Mary say something so strange right before the wedding? The one I love? What nonsense. That's impossible. Sane killed me 3 times. But come to think of it, he also saved me 3 times. So if Sane saves me 1 more time. At that thought, she screamed and dismissed it. What do you mean, save me? No matter what I think, Sane and I. Even if Sane and Sister Cecile doesn't hate me. She recalled Cecile once saying, whose child is she? What did Hindaga do to our family? Because from the moment I was born, nothing has changed. I should just go to sleep. I keep thinking about useless things. The morning I thought would never come finally arrived. My wedding to Sion was held outdoors, on the grounds of the ducal estate. More people came than expected, so there weren't enough seats, so some people had to stand to attend. The ceremony finally began. I still couldn't get my thoughts straight, and the tension from last night lingered, until I heard Sion's voice and snapped out of it. It's gonna be okay, Layla. Don't worry about a thing, because no matter what happens from now on, I will protect you. Just the deep warmth in his voice and his gentle smile made all my worries and anxieties melt away. Even if you never save me again, everything will be okay, she replied. Thank you, Sion. Just then, the priest announced in front of everyone gathered here, I now declare, you two are now husband and wife. Layla thought to herself, I guess I've liked Sion this much for a very long time. After the main ceremony, the reception was held immediately after, and most of the guests were nobles, there to build good relations with Sion, but every now and then, a few people came to greet me too. Mrs. Alice Liam, the former Lady Donovan, was one of my few guests. She mentioned that recently, she had started learning to sculpt, and I also met Taylor's so-called frenemies, the ones who helped us escape the dungeon before. I was finally able to meet them and give them my thanks. When Sion came along with me to say hello, everyone got so flustered that I felt a little bad, and finally, Cecile and the Count came over to tease Sion for a bit and then left. You're supposed to do a Princess Carrie on the wedding night, right, honey? Haha, that's right. At that moment, Sion asked me caringly, are you tired? Are you still holding up okay? I have someone I need to meet. Would you like to come with me? If you're tired, I can just go by myself. Of course, I'll go with you. Let's go. That person must be waiting for you. Yeah, let's go. A short while later, the priest bowed and said, it is an honor to meet you, Your Grace the Duchess. Layla responded in kind, the honor is all mine. Your Grace, you need not do that. No, Father, please rise first, how could I? Seeing this, Sion asked, what are you two doing? I'm going to count to 3, and you'll both raise your heads, got it? Yes, I understand. Yes. I should be a little slower, Layla thought to herself. His shoulders were shaking. Are you laughing at me? Sion replied, turning his face away. Of course not. Look me in the eye and say it. Just laugh. Nobody's stopping you. Hearing that, Sion burst out laughing. Ha ha ha. Layla blushed and thought to herself, I'll let it slide just because you're handsome. Let's sit now. You are our guest after all. We've made you wait long enough. Please, have a seat, Father? No, you two must sit first, Sion said again. Should I count down one more time? Ah, no need. I'll sit right down. Come to think of it, I haven't even introduced myself. I'm Holly, and I'm currently serving the Holy See in the Deo Kingdom. If you're from the Deo Kingdom, you must have traveled quite a long way. Haha, I was in a bit of a rush, so it took less than a month. Sion asked, why did you come in person? You could have just gone through your superiors. Are you joking? For something this valuable, how could I possibly entrust it to someone else? Someone has already done so. If this item could be priced, then perhaps. But this is an item that, even if offered thousands of gold coins, you would have to think twice about whether to sell it or not. An item? Layla asked curiously. Ah, this. This is a bracelet that contains the power of the gods, or to be more precise, this bracelet right here. It's imbued with the spiritual energy of the priests, and those priests have blessed this bracelet. No, it's more than that. It's more than just a simple blessing. It has the ability to protect its owner from external forces, including magic, as long as the bracelet isn't damaged. As for its detoxification function, it can only detect toxins. Sion asked, it can only detect them? The priest quickly replied, Sir Hero, I did everything in my power to create this. Tens of priests had to completely exhaust themselves for this. Quick, replace the fallen. Lord, why do you test us so? Besides, do you have any idea how valuable an artifact that can detect toxins, curses, or magic is? If word got out that such an item exists, the wealthy from all over the country would come flocking to buy it. I get it, so how many years can it be used for? Meanwhile, Layla stared at the bracelet, marveling. The wealthy from all over the country? The priest replied, at most it will last for 15 years. If my lady doesn't participate in war, Sion immediately asked, and what if she does? Why would my lady go to a battlefield? Anyway, if that happens, the bracelet will only last for about 5 years. Then don't contact me for 5 years. And after that, make sure you add a detoxification function. Hearing that, Layla looked at him and thought, he's a completely different person when he talks to me. Holly wiped his sweat and replied, in any case, I hope you will both take good care of this protective bracelet, as it is a gift I've prepared for my lady and yourself, so I was especially careful with it. At that moment, Layla said, thank you, I'll take great care of it. By the way, I poured my very soul into it. I used to be much better looking than I am now. Don't put yourself down like that, you look much healthier now anyway. Saying that, he turned to Layla. This is what I had them make for you. Want to try it on? Okay. She slipped it onto her wrist. Sion exclaimed, it fits perfectly. It's beautiful, Layla. Layla was secretly moved. A gift from Sion. The priests could only weep, raising their hands as if to say, but we're the ones who made it. She said, thank you, Sion, and thank you so much, Priest Holly. Please extend my gratitude to the others as well. I'm grateful for your acknowledgement of our efforts. Suddenly, Sion's eyes widened in alarm. Wait, what was that light? Holly asked urgently. My lady, are you all right? This is the detection function I mentioned before, but why is it activating now? Layla, are you okay? We need to go to Elvin. No, call Elvin here, she replied. But I'm fine. Holly said, we've verified this function many times. The possibility of a mistake is extremely low. There's no time to waste. Sane suddenly stood up and said, I'm sorry, Layla, then swept her up into his arms, to her confusion. Huh? What is it, Sane? After examining Layla, Elvin reported his findings. As far as I can tell, there's nothing abnormal. Layla immediately said, see? I told you I was fine, but Sane was still unconvinced. That's just one person's opinion. You don't trust Elvin? It's not that. The question is, do you trust Holly? Elvin is right, my lady. It's too soon to be relieved, didn't I tell you? In my opinion, it would be better for you to see a doctor who specializes in toxicology. Also, there are some types of poisons that are difficult to detect. I've contacted some doctors that Elvin recommended, along with a few others I've heard about. Please come back then for another checkup. She replied helplessly. I know, Priest Holly added, and just in case, I have also contacted the High Priest. I have determined with my power that it is not a curse of any kind, but perhaps the problem is with the bracelet, or maybe it's some other issue I'm not aware of. You don't have to go that far. No, we must investigate the cause of this thoroughly. So Layla, please don't push yourself too hard. I'm counting on you. I'll try. Don't worry too much. I'm really not that bothered by it. So, shall we return to the banquet hall? We still need to see everyone off. Will you be all right, Layla? There's no problem right now, is there? Is that right, Elvin? I think you'll be fine, as long as you don't do anything too strenuous. However, my lady, please don't go anywhere alone. If you feel anything unusual, please come find me immediately. You heard him, right? Let's go, Sane. All right. Layla silently reassured herself. Everything will be fine, right? All my worries and Sane's concerns turned out to be for nothing. All the doctors who came to the ducal manor found no signs of anything unusual in my body. I have used all of my knowledge and the various reagents I possess, but none of them reacted to the Duchess at all. It seems this is not a case of poisoning. Even after confirming the final doctor's opinion, Sane was by my side at all times, except when I was sleeping, as if observing me with a worried expression, nagging about the smallest things. Don't walk so fast, Layla. Sane, I'm really okay. The doctors all said I was fine, you know. Until we can meet the High Priest, we still have to be careful. But isn't it because you gave them such a tight deadline that the priests made a mistake? That's why there are some minor flaws with the bracelet. It's true the time frame was short, but they aren't the type to make careless mistakes. So the deadline was really that tight? About that, I had no choice but to give it to you on our wedding day. In any case, I can't rest easy until it's been thoroughly examined. The High Priest will be here in a few days, so please try to wait a little longer, Layla. Then I won't bother you anymore. Layla thought to herself, nothing has even happened yet. So why is Sane so worried? Is he so worried about me that he has to furrow his brow like that? Don't furrow your brow because of me. It would be better that way. At that thought, she instinctively reached her hand towards Sane's face, which flushed red with surprise. Layla immediately cried out, ah. Then she lowered her hand and asked, what's wrong? I was just brushing off some dust. Did I startle you? He answered shyly, no, it's not that. Ha ha ha. Well, that's a relief, she thought to herself. I guess he doesn't like it when I touch him. When I sit next to him, he also scoots away. A few days ago, while we were walking together, his hand brushed against mine for a moment, and ever since then, he has started walking behind me. Thinking back, when someone gives a bracelet, they usually put it on for the recipient directly, but he said he wanted to give it to me on our wedding day, so why didn't he put it on my wrist himself? When the light shone from the bracelet,